morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi. Everything should be working now. I can see messages, and I think my audio issue was fixed now. I had to delete my driver and reinstall it. So, oh my goodness, what's with all the scuff recently? Is it gonna give me awesome scuff luck? If it does, then woohoo! I'll take some scuff luck. I need some W's. As in wins. For other games too. Like FGO, my luck in there has been rather questionable lately. But gosh darn it. So maybe my luck is just biding its time. All the scuff luck is gonna accumulate into awesomeness. That is how it goes. Yay. How does the audio sound? Does it sound better than yesterday? Because oh my goodness, after I listened to the VOD yesterday, it sounded funny. Like sheesh. True, for FGO. Or heck, even Arknights. It took so long to get W over 100 something summons for my Wizardell. Ha. But it's okay, and it took me 190 summons for Cinderella inside of Mike. Then again, maybe I played too many gacha games, so then that's why my luck has just been bleh. Oh well. And hello. Without further ado, let us continue the story. I want to see the Duke of Wellington doing some awesome stuff. Like, he's just built different. Iblana, I was excited for her when I first saw her, but then the Duke of Wellington stole the show. Like, holy cow, that old man is built different. So, in response to saturation attacks... Okay, boop. And boop. Actually, wait, something's bothering me on OBS. Let me just fix that real quick. Let me check out my filters real quick, because for some reason it looks like the thingy's doing a thing. So if I put noise gate, or maybe it's not noise gate that I need to do. Let me just get rid of that real quick. Remove. Yes, goodbye noise gate. Now what happens if I put down, I think it was gain? Yeah. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Test. Okay, I think that's better. Ba 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 ba. Yes, that is my way of testing. Oh, never mind. That was too strong. Too powerful. Eee! Also, why do I hear myself as an echo? That's bothering me. It's distracting me. Oi. Let me just fix that real quick too. Because that's gonna haunt me. I don't want to be haunted by myself. If I haunt myself, that's not fun. That's disturbing. That's scary. The more I haunt, the more terrifying. Okay. Ba. Ooh, that was too loud. Don't mind me. Doo-doo-doo. Okay, yeah, loud. Okay, let me just fix that tiny bit. So if I put down, I guess a limiter? Yeah. Ba. Ba ba ba. Limit. To the limit. Limit. Ba. Test. 1, 2, 3. I think the limiter is helping. Yeah. I like limiter. Limiter good. Limiter helpful. And you know what? Let's just add in... Might as well add in a gate as well. I feel like the gate might be helpful too. If that just messed up everything, let me know. I'm gonna assume it's all good now. Yeah. So, howls! Oh yeah, I gotta put Amiya in my team. There's one more. I think that's more than one, Amiya. I'm afraid it won't be that easy. My cute little king of sarcasm, you've already broken 5 of my pets. Shall I take a guess at how long you'll hold out yet? You gave life to those beings of witchcraft just to use them as expendable tools to hold me back? It did take me a bit of time to create these chimeras. You're so cruel! You go around spreading that rash of empathy everywhere, just like Teresa. When she lost to Teresa's, the Regent thought it would be a good opportunity to retake the crown. But to her surprise, she'd already passed it on to you before she died. Quite the well-conceived plot. Even with our eyes and ears everywhere, we were unable to detect it before it happened. Were you also fooled by her lies, Doctor? I have no idea what you're talking about, lady. I know nothing about any of this. I am clueless, lady. I know nothing about any of this. Poor soul. You don't even remember a thing. You desperately serve this king of Sarkaz. Is it the former king's manipulation, or is it because you truly love her from the bottom of your heart? That I'm actually able to answer. Enough of your sophistry. My bond with Amiya is nothing you can tamper with. Amiya is my bestie. To Sartu's stags, ambition will bring even greater harm to the Sarkaz. Teresa would never allow him to usurp the crown. Such meaningless prattle, my dear little rabbit. Just ask anyone on the streets of Kazdel and they will tell you. For us, the departure of the King of Sarkaz is the gravest disaster. Alright, spare me whatever you might say about fairness. The inheritance of the King of Sarkaz has always been filled with accidents, and Teresa's actions were no different from what we did. We all sought to make this power easier to control. Our regent believes more deeply in the connection between blood and soul. This episode's so sad. Well, it was wholesome a little bit earlier and kind of cool earlier with the Duke of Wellington and the nice reunion between Horn and Bagpipe. Like, that was cute. The rest, I'm not sure how it's gonna be. Hiss. The pain they're enduring. Are these emotions also instilled and manipulated by witchcraft? The chimera lashes out at the crystals around it. Originium activation levels are increasing! It's increasing! Arg. Amiya, the Originium activation levels are changing extremely quickly. Doctor, you don't need to worry. I can get accustomed to this Confessarius' witchcraft. Over the last few years, I've been learning. I remember all the treatment methods Teresa taught me, as well as all the instruction I received from Dr. Kelsey. I can feel the connection between me and the King of Sarkaz. It has not left me. It just hurts a little bit, that's all. Utterly meaningless. Go now. That one is of no value anymore. Even more howling! The crazed chimera rushes towards you. From Chernobyl to Londinium, you've encountered all forms of foes, some of which defied your wildest imagination. But the enemy before you looks like the most formidable of all. It is the product of the Confessary's manipulation of blood, combined with the ultimate embodiment of Sarkaz's physical strength. Salu said that the Sarkaz are much stronger than Courteous, but you know that even Amiya's body is vastly stronger than yours. And yet, you still have an advantage. Something sets you aside from others. Something that makes you one of a kind. My awesome noodle arms. I won't let you! The black lines of the Sarkaz King run through the chimera in front of you. But the claws of another chimera are about to reach your head. It's almost time. Take a small step back. Crystal clusters are violently multiplying at the position you stood just a moment ago. One after another, like flowers brought into full bloom through arts, sharp stones tear the ground and rock wall. The same is also true for the chimera closest to you. Its massive body crashes to the ground. Originium dust kicked up in every direction, rubbing and colliding, exploding in a dazzling gold. Just as calculated, the surrounding Originium rocks have reached a critical point of collapse, overcharged by witchcraft energies. A mist of fine crystals rain down into your mask. You gaze upon them, harboring no ill sentiment whatsoever. Originium will never harm you, and deep down, you realize this once again. But the same is not true for others. An instinctive fear swirls in the eyes of both Amiya and Salus. Amiya approaches you steadfastly, while Salus shows a hint of hesitation. And it was in that moment, just one brief moment. Bind. My hands and feet. Banshee! Salus is about to let out a scream, but the ensuing incantation preemptively seals her power. Your voice is grating to the ears. You spend too much time playing with pelts, while knowing nothing about weaving a stanza. Amiya, it's time. Amiya! Right. Salus. The black particles no longer revolve around you, but instead form into a sharp sword. You cannot help but look into the face of the blue-haired confessorius. Her emotions have almost faded away, as if already having made peace with the imminent fatal blow. So, this is it. The King of Sarkis' verdict. You. Don't misunderstand. I did everything I could to try to survive. I failed to recapture the King of Sarkas for the leader, and made a grave mistake, which is why I was deceived by the cunning pest beside you. For the sake of this life, I should try to atone for my sins, is that it? You're willing to sacrifice yourself for Chiyu Sartustei's plot. He is our father, our progenitor. Disobedience is not an option. I truly hate Chiyu Sarsenag, and I hate you too. Why do you choose to resist? Amiya, are we not just chimeras implanted with hope? Obstruct. The exploding blood mist is blocked by an invisible force. Shortly afterwards, the blood mist that obscured your view gradually dissipates and silently falls over the entire cave. She got away! After hearing all the stories about Teresa over the landship over the years, what would my first impression of her be? Like, based on what I've heard, I'd be like, oh, she's a nice lady. That's what I thought. That's what I thought too when I first heard the stuff about Teresa. Like, oh, she seemed nice. She did seem nice. And she is nice. She galvanized the blood dripping from her wounds. She would have no means to fully resist my incantations. Such an action would only tear her further apart. As long as Salus is not killed completely, she will find a way to escape. You heard her say it herself. She sees this life as precious. And where do you think she'll escape to? Her mission is probably to safeguard the blood of Tikas, right? Since she could not stop us at the fake altar, she would definitely return to the real one. The way forward is clear now. Logos, I assume you already left a tracker? I've met your expectations. I understand your plan, Doctor, but it's far too risky. I can't approve of what you did then. If you try pulling a stunt like this again, I'll get angry. I'll keep that in mind. We don't have the luxury of time. Please don't be angry at me. That's right. We need to pick up the pace. Kelsey stares at an object on the ground. You recognize it as a confessorius mask left behind by Salus as she fled. We underestimated Chiyu Sartustei. Previously, he suddenly appeared before me in Shining, kidnapped Nightingale, and revealed his intent to usurp the King of Sarkas. He has been lurking in the shadows for thousands of years for this moment. He would certainly not make any rash moves until his goal is accomplished. He wanted others to think that he was solely after the Black Crown. Snatching the crown is not the end? What does he plan to do with it? The King of Sarkas is a neutral force. Whether it heralds the arrival of calamity or averts it depends on its wielder. Which is most likely why Chiyu Sartustei seeks the crown. He wants that authority to be vested within his own hands, to touch those secrets passed down for eons, to seek even greater power from the point of origination. Amnanam, the first Originium. Chiyu Sartustei, Ducario, and Teresa's, while their ultimate goals may be different, they all converge upon the same destination. The Sarkas have always been deeply influenced by Originium. I fear, however, that this influence is being directed on purpose. or that it is uncontrollably penetrating into a deeper level. Oh, I think I'll be fine. Your physical condition is stabilized. Logo said that the lingering traces of confessorious witchcraft have already dissipated. Thank you. You have cracks in at least 3 rings. It's nothing serious, just some battle damage, that's all. The rings aren't the problem, Amiya. Since the battle for the command tower started, don't you think you've been taking on too many memories and emotions? Those aren't going away. It's your own psyche that's tearing these rings apart, and no instrument is enough to contain such a torrent of emotions. The rings can't, but I can. I'm not just an instrument. Those emotions were forced on me by someone else, yes, but I chose to reach out to them, to experience them, to feel them. If I said it wasn't painful, that'd be a lie. I don't want to deceive anyone else or myself by acting as if the pain doesn't exist, but I've pretty much gotten used to it. It's like wading through a swamp with a heavy load on your back. Amiya, I'd recommend reinforcing those rings. Ooh, hello. Yeah, it is working now, kind of, sort of. No. To save even more people, I need even more power. I told you again and again that this is what I wish for. I think most of the scuff has been defeated, including the audio scuff, and if not, gosh darn it. Doctor, how's Amiya doing? Not ideal, but she's managing to stay in control. The solutions we have for all these problems are only stopgates at best, or stopgaps at best. That feeling of seeing yourself and everything around you sliding into the abyss is no less harrowing than physical illness or pain. I did get to download AFK Arena. How do I unlock the special peoples, the special collab peoples like Ram? I've been summoning it a lot. I even got to the... Heck, I even unlocked that stargazing thing. I summoned one person to stargazing, but I'm like, how do I unlock the special peoples? I can't change the fact that she's infected. If only I could cure her. Amiya's is unwavering. When Her Highness Teresa brought her before us for the very first time, she was but a child. I still remember her gaze lingering on the feathers on my horns. How did she react? How did you react? How did you react? Even I found myself somewhat shocked. There was no fear in the child's eyes, only a friendly curiosity. I was planning to take a step back like Scout and the others, but Amiya actually came up to approach us herself. That was a time when a good chunk of Babel's core members were Sarkas. We had horns of all shapes on our heads, some more imposing than others, and there were crystals all over our bodies. I'd seen my fair share of Rimbiliton's courteous caravans, so I knew that those timid, mild-mannered courtesses often found it difficult to suppress their instinctive fear. When they came face to face with the Sarkas, maybe it was just her nature, or she had an exceptional upbringing. Amiya showed no sign of distinguishing between the Sarkas and any other race. She naturally treated everyone with kindness, which is why I was not surprised at all when I learned that Teresa chose Amiya to be her successor. Aw, Amiya was always a sweetheart. I know, I gotta check out the friend tab more closely. Even though you were a lord of the royal court, you were in support of Amiya inheriting the title of the King of Sarkas. For me, that wasn't even the most difficult part of the decision. Doctor, I just ran to some old friends. Among them was one of my former Babel comrades, whom I killed with my own hands. What? Why? What? After Her Highness Teresa's death, a rebellion broke out on Rhodes Island. A number of Babel members refused to give up on the war. They and a number of Sarkas warriors decided that we ought to take revenge and return to Kasdel to reclaim power. But the most extreme among them, they proposed to kill Amiya. They wanted to lash out against Kelsey. They proposed to kill Amiya, my baby. The team that once belonged to the King of Sarkas turned completely away from Kasdel. They saw this as a despicable theft and an unforgivable betrayal. And Dr. Kelsey, along with the non-Sarkas members of Babel, were seen as the culprits. All of them were warriors who followed Teresa. All of them used to belong to Babel. All of them were warriors who followed Teresa. Many of them truly believed in Teresa and were willing to lay down their lives for her and Babel's ideals. The man I killed almost lost his life at the hands of the military commissioner Castor. I saved him, only to take his life later on. That must have been a heavy toll on you. You must still be suffering. That must have taken a heavy toll on you. Logos, the Babel member, already made his choice. After the rebellion, the mercenaries and the Sarkaz warriors pretty much all chose to leave. Among Babel's official rank and file, only a few decided to remain. Babel was no more, and Dr. Kelsey forbade anyone from mentioning the King of Sarkaz. What about you? Why did you stay with Rhodes Island? What about you, Logos? It's true that I did plan to return to the valley following Her Highness's death. Kazdo has lost its king, and nobody could predict its future. As the master of the Elegia court, I could not run away from my duty to my home. Oh, wait. Is Garrison in the friend button too? Huh. I gotta look. By the way, for AFK Arena, if you have any empty friend slots, I would love to be able to borrow some of your peoples if I can. Before I left, Scout pulled me aside and said that he and Misery were throwing a farewell party for me. I said that drinking was out of the question, and that I didn't want to ruin my new change of clothes. But turns out, they wanted me to help paint. Paint? Interesting time to do a renovation. Paint? They were preparing to change the landship's markings. Outcast was the one who convinced me to take the job. No idea what kind of messed up rumors Closure had poured into her head. She said Banshee incantations are magical, and if I were to make the new sign, Rhodes Island would surely have smooth future voyages. And that came from a Sancta. So, did you end up making the sign? There's not any actual magic involved, right? So, did you end up making the sign? That was Closure's job, actually. I warned my colleagues not to let her slack off. That sounds scary. Pretty cool of you. I think I made my name on AFK Arena Misaki Nobunaga. I think I did, and if I didn't, gosh darn it. I'm pretty sure. If you search that up, if it doesn't appear, let me know. Then I'll check. I know I was what was it, like, new player for the longest time, or whatever that default name was. For the longest time, I say, as I've only played for like a few days. The work was done in no time. After finishing, we all looked up at the sign together, and Ace asked when I was leaving, so I gave him two dates. The first was when I'd be leaving the landship. The very same day. The next was 3 days later. 72 hours is the shortest time needed to make a round trip from the place of the landship was docked at, and the Valley of the Banshees. When Ace heard that, he immediately told Scout to give him 5 days worth of booze money. Scout wagered that I'd be back in the valley for more than a week. As for Misery, he pulled a welcome back ribbon out of his pocket and replaced the farewell banner that he had originally put up as a joke. Sounds like everyone was having fun. You were all such good friends. Sounds like everyone was having fun. I carry a lot of responsibility on my shoulders, and even if I don't want to set any of them down altogether, I still have to pick and choose what I prioritize. But I knew from the very beginning that I made the right call. Doctor, I've not questioned you since you returned from Chernobog. You have no memories of the past, so why do you choose to remain with Rhodes Island even now? Why are you willing to take immense risks and dive deep into the dangers ahead? Because gotcha! Because my bestie Mia. Lord Banshee, Mr. Logos, the road ahead has been blocked. The Doctor and the King of Sarkaz would like you to hurry up. I like how Logos was reminiscing about stuff. How he was talking about how things were and how the people he hung out with. A newly formed rift. This huge rift suddenly appeared out of nowhere. The blue-haired Cophaserius went through it, so we
So we're definitely on the right track, but right now, the Originium is reshaping the terrain with increased frequency and severity. I can feel it. I trust that you can as well, Mia.
The ground is trembling. The sarcastic emotions are resonating violently with the Originium. Their rage is gathering, and it shakes this land like a storm.
When the blood of the T-Cats is used in tandem with Omnanam, the battlefield itself becomes an art circle of colossal proportions. The Originium arts of the rampaging Sarcats are amplified, and in turn, that increased power promotes the spread of Originium. A similar situation took place thousands of years ago. The Sarcats acquired witchcraft through Originium, and through witchcraft, Omnanam was awakened. In the centuries to follow, violent storms flayed the land, and great fissures cut deep into the earth. The Originium had almost completed its mission by devouring everything.
Were you able to stave off the end of days? I mean, you were able to stave off the end of days? Did you manage to stop things from getting worse? Did you manage? Oh. Wait, am I able to change servers in that game? I don't think I chose my server. I think it was just automatically put in there. Though an increased speed for progress is good, but lack of collab heroes, oh no! Is it fine to stay there? Should I move? If it's possible? Or do I have to start all over? If I have to start all over, gosh darn it.
This is not something I can do, or should. The war ended before Originium could completely engulf the land. The Elders, the Ancients, and the Sarcats all suffered losses so grievous that they were unable to carry out any more large-scale conquests. At least, for the time being. War knows no end.
And now we attack on the way to the altar, the real altar this time. Okay, no fear. No fear indeed. Ew, though. Ew. Ew. Thinking. Thinking how I want to place people. Lots and lots of thinking. Over here should be fine for now. Yeah. Yeah. Good enough. One over here. One over here. Hey. Okay, this is fine so far. I do have to start over? Aw, man. Oh, that is pain then, if I have to start over then. Good thing it's only been a few days worth of progress. Cries. Got all the way to that many summons, all to start all over again. Oh, woe is me. Woe is me indeed. No, it's fine. It'll be fine. I got this. It'll be worth it in the end, right? Yep. And, oh shoot. Whoopsies. Oh, it's one of those firefly dudes. You know, I should probably bring out some people that can hit really hard. That'd be nice. Just like that. Yeah. Look at me doing a thing. Now it's be fine. Alright, alright. Okay. So if I switch servers inside of AFK Arena, what happens to my current account? Like, am I able to go back there? Or is it even worth playing on my regular account or my current account? Oh, Companions is new. Oh, it stays. That's good. Debating if I should just switch between the two. Because that might be good, actually. Okay. "68 hours into the operation." You're amazed by all the amount of gacha games I can juggle. That just shows what I do in my spare time. If I'm not working or going to school or streaming, I'm just playing games for the most part. And also maybe watching some anime. And the occasional super duper rare hangout. Otherwise, it's just like game, 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 food game. Smoke and thick fog tug and tear at one another. The deck of the gastro is teeming with the seeds and withered branches of the Notchzerers. 70% of the guns that once breached countless fortresses have now fallen silent. Its teeth almost completely pulled and its talons wetted smooth. The logical next step is for this prey to be dismantled and devoured. I'm waiting for more episodes of the Yakuza Bride because I think it's funny. I finally wanna watch Ranma 1/2. I could have watched the originals, but I wanna watch the remake. Just because I feel like it. Because why not? I've been watching Blue Lock. Well, I mainly read the manga for Blue Lock. So of course I'm gonna support the anime too. It's fun at least seeing them colored and in action, but mainly colored. Like, yay, pretty art! I mainly binge watch. There's some other series too that I know that I should go into, but at the same time, I'm just biding my time. And by binge watch, I'd rather watch everything all at once, but if I can't do that, at least like 3 episodes at a time. Otherwise, I'm just like, but more! But I need more! Fries. However, the Notchzera's throne has also been pierced by dozens of chain-ladled fort crackers. With just one more, the god of war could be pulled from his throne.
You have proven to me that war marches on. 200 years ago, no Victorian would have come even this far. Heh. And you, Sarkaz, you've proven that you're not just some decrepit old shadow. You are indeed a threat to this great land. Perhaps my worship should have paid you a visit sooner. After I tore Gaul apart. You would have been afforded no such opportunity. None of you. A compulsorious transmission. Yes, in the direction of the blood of Tikaz.
The Notchzera King takes in the entirety of the battlefield. The enemy is trying to halt the storm. This might change the flow of battle, but it is hardly decisive. Even without the catastrophe, his warriors are just as savage, just as unrelenting. Wellington is a worthy opponent, but the fetters of time will soon drag him away. He has no place among the future's wars. The true threat comes from elsewhere. It comes from behind.
Teresa's and the Compulsorious have reminded me that this is not the only battlefield. Will you attend to it personally? I've already received the wars promised to me by the military commission, present and future. The Notchzeras must also fulfill their pact with the Regent. But before I leave, I must sow some seeds of decay in this battlefield for me to reap upon my return.
That must also kind of suck for him. He was having fun. The Notchzera King was having fun with the Duke of Wellington. But now he's being pulled away to do some other work. He's like, but before I leave, I want to have just a little bit more fun. A thick haze rises. Upon the battlefield, only the throne remains.
Is that Notchzera running away? No. In a real war, there's no retreat. Wait, General, look at the throne! There's some kind of mist pouring from it. That isn't any ordinary mist. It's eating me from the inside. General, your body. Soldier, status report on the Gastrel. Damage to the cabins in excess of 60%. For your previous orders, propulsion capabilities are largely intact. As for weapons, remove anything that's basically unusable and discard it on the spot. Roll out the originium cannons and the lower deck. Those are already obsolete, but still enough to kill. Yes, sir! Notify the Gastro to retreat to G0 high ground according to the plan, and continue to consolidate defenses there. We will also follow at speed, while ordering all current battle lines to fall back. Next, we'll send these Sarkas over to the caster and Gododin to handle. Any news from Shay? The captain and Lady Blana have captured most of the Nachzera altars in this area. Yes, I saw. Her flames are very vivid. Medic. No need. General? Heh. A battle with no decisive conclusion will not be my last.
Duke of Wellington's like, this mist that's eating me from the inside, it's fine. No worse than when I eat spicy food and lots of pineapple. Same thing, same feeling. Alliance Fleet Command emergency transmission.
3 minutes left. We should be able to hear gunfire from our current position. Yes, Your Grace. Wellington's column is not far from ours, ensuring that we'll be able to provide mutual support. This battle will determine Victoria's fate. Indeed, if all goes well, then we'll be able to end this meaningless stalemate as quickly as possible. Those eyes truly burn with a lust for battle. Do you think he has any ulterior motives? For 2 decades, my desk has been filled with the intel relayed to him, along with its response proposals. As of late, these reports have been updating a dozen times a day. The true struggle begins after the Sarkas have been dealt with. But at this moment, Wellington isn't the only one who needs a decisive victory. The time has come. The assault is about to commence, and he has never failed to be punctual. Ah, do you hear that? The gastro's full of broadside. Such a different timbre it is compared to our ships.
But after this battle, Caster's name will shine alongside Wellington's in the annals of Victorian military history. Anomaly. 00 and 01. Repeat. 00 and 01. Drat, the comms have been cut. Your Grace, all signals from the Duke of Wellington have vanished. A group of Sarkas suddenly emerged from the catastrophe and have engaged in battle with our frontline troops. What the hell is Wellington doing? Acting alone at a time like this? That vainglorious fool. Has he gone senile?
Impossible. I do have a conjecture, though. Do you think he deceived Caster, or rather, everyone?
That doesn't make any sense. This is the Iron Duke we're talking about. Why would he abandon the other, more easily manipulated dukes to go ally with the Sarkas?
It's a game of prisoner's dilemma among the dukes. How will the Duke of Windermere, a warrior, treat her foes?
She'd kill them all, and wipe the last speck of their blood across their sea spoils.
Before he became the first among the Victorian dukes, Wellington had already been leading troops for decades, longer than your mother. As a noble among nobles, Caster was used to everyone playing with the same set of rules. After spending too long seated in front of the card table, she might have forgotten that some unreasonable people, such as us gangster types, have a penchant for flipping the entire table. Hypothetically, if the Iron Duke truly saw all Victoria's enemies rather than competitors, he'd never even give Caster a single chip to bargain with.
A full hero swap event? What does that do? That sounds good. I like the sound of that.
Catastrophe! The next wave of catastrophe struck far sooner than any of the catastrophe messengers predicted. All of our comms have been knocked offline. How long for repairs?
15 minutes. No, we'll make it in 10.
Your Grace. You came back on Wellington's orders. Indeed. You're heavily injured. Who's responsible? Not any of the Iron Duke's men. He lost to that Sarkas? After the Gastro opened fire, the Nachzera's advance brigade emerged from the fog. They moved extremely quickly, using already deployed altars to destroy the small warship. Abercorn's infantry had already engaged them for a spell. We expected the Gastro to aid the ship, but he retreated instead. That's right, the Gastro has turned back. All of Wellington's other ships are covering the flagship's retreat. Their casters have also changed targets, relying on the covering fire from our ships to secure their own vessel's retreat. What about Abercorn and Ashworth's ships? Completely exposed to the Nachzera's assault. They expected to show up as support, but now find themselves facing the enemies head-on. Wellington's ships have completely blocked off their retreat. He's even trying to push Apricorn and the others towards the front lines.
Oh! Oh, that is a very, very good event. I like that.
It won't be long until the remaining Alliance forces are wiped out and become sustenance for the Notchzerers.
Ooh, hello, hello. And if I'm only limited to the 4 standard factions, that's fine. I like the Graveborns. They are fun. They cool.
Your Grace, the Alliance forces dispatched to the heart of the battle have collapsed, and the Sarkis will soon return to the rear where we're situated. The plan to cut off and encircle the Sarkas has failed. We're at risk of getting surrounded ourselves. At risk? No, it's already too late. What's enveloping us is much more than a catastrophe. Notchzerers! The signal's back online, and we've run into a large contingent of Notchzerers. No, it's an entire army. There's another force approaching from the right. Is that their second army? They've already begun fighting. The catastrophe is amplifying the Notchzerers' witchcraft. The Originium response is spiking sharply. Your Grace, watch yourself.
Dang, so much is happening.
Troops in the battlefield still able to receive any feeble signals at all. Simultaneously are sent a staticky message. The Glorious has been confirmed destroyed.
Ah. Not so glorious anymore.
Vina remembers the first time she saw a high-speed battleship. It was sitting on her father's desk, a small-scale model, only as long as an adult's forearm. Its crystal flagpole would fall over with just a little poke. Her father's pushed her touchy-feely hands away, telling her that high-speed battleships are akin to metallic monsters that conquer the land. They, like the indomitable city of Londinium, were the crowning jewels of Victoria's industrial technology. Alexandrina, when you are older, I will take you aboard the newest battleship. You will see for yourself. Many years later, when Vina did in fact see one, it was only upon the battlefield. Be it Windermere's casters or Wellington's warship, they were so majestic that the people standing beneath them were mere specks in comparison. By this moment, the broken warship in the palm of the colossal Originium wave before her seems to have reverted to the tiny toy she played with in her childhood. That Originium wave crushed the Glorious into pieces. My eardrums are still aching. The sound of a warship being destroyed. I doubt there's anyone nearby who didn't hear it. The Duke driving that huge thing is dead just like that? Grr, hey Dogda, you better not shit yourself. You're the one whose hands are shaking. You've been quiet this whole time, Dogda. What's on your mind? They made an example of the Duke of Castor at this critical juncture. The Sarka's intentions are all too clear. What might that be? A warning? No, it's a message. A message that the Sarkas are about to launch an all-out attack. Inform all of our comrades and prepare for the next assault. The Duke of Castor's not dead. Horn, our morale's completely shot right now. That was quite the commotion just now. Nobody's ever seen anything like that before, including us. But the captain's already sent out a bunch of old vets to tag along with you and calm down the fresh greens. Looks like it's been working out. Bagpipe. Don't hold them to our standards, even if you're just doing it subconsciously. The exemplars just happen to be a particularly special case. Got it, Captain. Horn, you just said that the Duke of Castor's still alive? You seem quite certain about that.
Ooh, 4 weeks in total, okay. Dang, that's good. Oh ho ho.
Take a look. The muzzles of the Glorious' cannons have been locked on since the very beginning.
Huh?
There might have been countless criticisms about Victoria's Grand Dukes, but holding that position for decades is no easy feat. Since the Glorious has not ceased its resistance, that means the Duke of Castor has not perished. As for the actual situation, maybe that's something a Trilby Asher can clear up for us. Yeah, Trilby Asher. He left the moment the Glorious started to run into trouble. He might be in the vicinity trying to get into contact with the Glorious just to figure out what's actually going on. From what he told us, the stone of the sword we're looking for is right there. Siege, what's your next move?
We've just heard back from the outpost. The Glorious has been completed surrounded by the Royal Court's blitz attack, and the Duke of Wellington has suddenly withdrawn his forces. The situation in the surrounding areas have been rapidly deteriorated. Vina, I'm afraid that we'll have to halt our march at once. But the stone! I wanted to see the size of kings in action, gosh darn it. But oh, it was not meant to be. Now from the light. Ah. Well, this is gonna be interesting. Look at all those entrances. Well. This will be fine. Totally fine. Yeah.
All hands, you're not to change your route without authorization. Pass through the gastros covering bombardment areas post-haste. Cover the generals return to the ship.
Shells rain down on both sides from the mobile force that is moving at full speed. Smoke obscures their whereabouts, and withering artillery fire crushes the Sarkaz troops collapsing upon them.
Wait. 200 meters ahead, I found something strange belonging to those Notch Zerers. The aura emanating from that throne seems to be letting those damn devils to replenish their ranks faster. They're closing in fast. They're trying to intercept us. General, do we need the flank guard to continue the diversion? No. Commander, where? Run them over. Yes, sir. Labored gasps.
Amidst the smoke, silent figures in white robes raise their long swords, sundering at the artillery fire falling upon them. They disappear into the plumes of smoke and dust kicked up by the explosions.
Prepare to intercept the enemy. 5, 4, 3, 2. Don't disappoint me. 1.
Oh, the flames.
The skies are raining fire.
Not all death is alike, Sarkaz. Purple flames wreathe the Duke of Wellington's entire mobile unit, and a rising pillar of flames carves out a completely safe domain on the battlefield. A sanctuary brought by the flames of death.
You've more than proven your trustworthiness, Lady Ablana.
And I too admire your duel against death. However, your injuries are still severe, and the Notch Sarah's deathly aura still eats away your body. Your uniform may hide your injuries, but not from me. Take my hand, Your Grace. You should not be riding these rickety vehicles. Allow me to personally escort you back to the Gastral.
It's just a flesh wound.
The Duke who overcame death ignores the Draco's outstretched hand, his body remaining upright with the help of his cane. Cane? Little more than that.
Lady Ablana, your flames still burn a bit too hot.
I don't know. The Duke of Wellington's like, it's just a flesh wound, it's fine. Ah, of course.
Make an opening in this wall of flame, and I'll lead the way. Don't worry, this cane has accompanied me through more dreadful battlefields. I will stand atop the Gastral's bow, and await Victoria's call for help.
As you wish, my ever-faithful lord. If your body can no longer sustain your ambition, then I shall rekindle your heart with flames. Even death shall be no obstacle. Even death shall be no obstacle for your marches forward. We are Tara. We shall stand upon the most glorious place in this land. Together we shall set this battlefield alight. Iblana and the Duke of Wellington are the most terrifying combo. Warning, warning. Damage to the hull is in excess of 65%. Navigation system offline. Propulsion system offline.
Activate backup power supply. The engine room has been damaged, and there's a serious leakage of originium fuel. At 2:34, the Frederick was struck by 3 witchcraft shells simultaneously, paralyzing its propulsion system. The combat zone is heavily contaminated by witchcraft. The 3 supporting frigates are unable to approach, and currently dispatching infantry. The 2nd defensive line has incurred a fierce assault. The 9th Battalion Armored Corps is currently holding back the Nobunaga infantry. Lieutenant Colonel Blake and Major Morning have been slain. Captain Seymour is currently in command. The Excelsior has experienced an approaching squad of Nobunaga casters. We've lost contact with the Intrepid, with no specific coordinates identified. Duke Godden's 3 dreadnoughts are approaching full speed to provide support. Duke Abercorn and Duke Ashworth's assault battle groups are also responding to the call for help. Originium activity is so rampant that it's off the charts. What the heck is that? Is the Originium eating our ship?
Your Grace, the situation is changing extremely quickly. The surviving Trophy Ashers have already been sent out, and the news they've brought back has been compiled here. Our men are dying out there, and the Noxeras are turning this entire battlefield into a meat grinder. How many of us are still left?
Less than a third. Your Grace should retreat. Our flagship still retains its defensive capabilities. Even in this condition, it should at least be able to clear a way back for you.
I can't leave. Eileen, spread the word that I'll be staying in the Glory. Use whatever means you have at your disposal. If I abandon the front line, the defensive line will inevitably be routed. Victory will be yet another step further away from Victoria. What will the other soldiers think of us? That yet another Duke has abandoned them? When this battle is over, our soldiers must also remember what price I paid for this victory. I will continue to draw the Noxeras fire. The other Dukes will surely come to my aid.
Well, good luck, Duke of Castor. Sting till the very, very end.
They understand exactly what it is, and is not important at this current moment. Besides, my elite forces are all here. You're all the support I need.
I think what would catch my eye the most would be the purple flames. I'd be like, why are the flames purple there? And then the zombies. Nothing more needs to be said.
Nothing more needs to be said. Watch out, Your Grace! Humph. We'll start by clearing out this cabin. Our march towards victory begins in this stronghold. Your Grace. As you command, then we must get our hands on the sides of kings. The stone of the sword is still here, undamaged. That is our best opportunity for a counterattack. Is the Trilby Asher who's been in contact with our lovely Venus still alive? Our communication channels are back online now. Excellent. Get in touch with him. I have new orders for him.
Better not steal the sword. There's no end to them. Shells. Where are the shells? Clark!
Dead. They're all dead. Nina, I've rescued another soldier. The enemy line ahead is going to be hard to handle. Are you sure you want to keep pushing forward? Activating the Realm Blade is the best option we have for turning the tides of this battle. We've already come this far, and this is something only we can do. Who are you? We're the Exemplars.
The Exemplars? Use your head, soldier. Don't charge right up to the enemy. So much blood, orpathy, and the suppressants. Damn it, we ran out a while ago. Hang in there a bit longer, and don't move. There's a chance that originium crystals puncture your lungs. It doesn't matter anymore. What? Doctor, sir, just about all our men are dead. Clark was the second to last one. See that hand over there by your feet? That's all that's left of him. What can I do?
Your name?
Patel. Richard Patel.
Private Patel, from your badge, I see you were assigned to the 9th Battalion Armored Corps, and your commanding officer is Lieutenant Colonel Blake. If I recall correctly, your company's mission is to protect Duke Castor's flagship.
Who are you? Which unit are you from?
Delphine, from the Exemplars. I'm just like you. I despise those enemies. They took everything from me. But I still remember my mission. I'm here to aid you, Private Patel.
Aid me? Duke Windermere's dead. I don't know if our esteemed Duke is still with us. And then, there's the Iron Duke, that bloody codger, Wellington! He deserted the battlefield! What are you people even doing here? What hope do we have for victory?
Delphine subconsciously glances over at Vina, who stands not far away with the size of kings strapped to her back. Even if the Grand Dukes give up, we will not.
Is that so? He's not going to last much longer. Shit, hurry up and spread out! He could implode at any moment, and we won't have time to deal with them.
Delphine sees the soldier's bloodshot eyes. There is determination and desire burning within them.
Listen up, exemplars. There's a contingent of Notchzeras up ahead. Put me into that tank over there. Wait, Delphine, don't go near him. I can handle this.
Very well. Allow me to help you, Private Patel. If this is your last wish.
Thank you.
He wants to go out with a bang.
The battered tank hurtles towards the Sarkaz troops. Many of the exemplars had no idea what was going on until they heard the one last battle cry of an ordinary soldier using his life. We will record all you've accomplished here today. Each and every member of the Duke of Castor's 9th Battalion Armored Corps was a good soldier, ready to defend the glorious and Victoria herself with their lives.
Wait, what's going on? The dead are standing up?
No, it's not the dead that are standing. They're withered branches. Twigs sprout from the fallen bodies of the Notchzera warriors, extending in every direction, burrowing back towards the fog where the scent of rotten decay is strongest. A figure rises from the fog and quickly approaches.
Get back, Delphine!
They'll growl.
Luckily, it'll take more than that to kill me off. If we die here, our lives will get sucked up by the Notchzera altars, and we'll turn into their food.
Does that mean Private Patel's last wish was in vain? If these enemies cannot even be defeated by death.
No, Delphine. He was able to slay the squad of Notchzeras. However, that monster's clearly weakened, and trying to feed off death. Take advantage of this opportunity and destroy the target. I'll cover you, Bagpipe. Mark my flank. Private Patel's wish will not be in vain. We'll charge out through the opening he created. Everyone, move it. Don't hesitate. Slow down for a second, and the whole situation might spiral out of control. What are you still standing there for? Don't tell me you're choosing now of all times to get cold feet. Getting cold feet? No, I just need to stay behind for the time being to fulfill my duty. Your Highness, Alexandrina, please don't glare at me like that. I really do have urgent business to attend to. The Duke has just given me her latest orders. The jail is off. You are to evacuate the Size of Kings and await her further instructions. You will not be able to reach the Stone of the Sword, and this key must not fall into Sarkaz's hands. If necessary, special measures can be employed to ensure the safety of the Size of Kings.
How did I see this coming?
There's no need to be so wary of me. I've been completely forthcoming when it comes to the Duke's orders. I know you're loath to abandon your quest for the Stone of the Sword, but count me in. Huh? My highest priority remains to ensure the safety of the Duke. But at a time like this, where am I supposed to find allies more trustworthy than the exemplars?
Your Duke's not going to be too happy with your decision.
Would you look at that? We're ready to switch sides. Look at it this way. I'm outnumbered here. I don't have any way of dealing with all of you. Go, Your Royal Highness. I hope your plan is a complete one.
Don't worry. My dear aunt won't have anything to worry about. I know what I have to do.
I like how the Troviash is like, well, this is my job, but I'm switching sides. Yay!
Venus' plans are never complicated, and that has proven surprisingly effective on the chaotic battlefield. Everyone in the exemplars knows exactly what they're fighting for. No matter how the war forces them apart, in the end, those who survive will gather to lift the glass of victory. The plan is straightforward. Delphine, you're in charge of commanding from the periphery and pinning down the Sarkaz laying siege to the Glorious.
chip away at them, and avoid direct engagements.
Can you still walk?
I don't think so.
Then grab onto my back. I've moved you to safety. Well, there's nowhere that's safe anymore. But let's get behind that piece of the destroyed warship. Hide behind there for the time being.
Don't worry about us. Right now, the size of kings takes the strongest priority.
Don't be daft. Venus' team knows what to do with the size of kings. Our mission right now is to contain the enemy and siphon off some of their firepower. Oh, I did not see the latest. Lieutenant, I need medical assistance over here.
Roger.
Fitz, where are you from?
East,
I've been there before. They've got a good leather.
There's an open wound in the leg with visible puncturing. Stop the bleeding first. Do you have pain anywhere else other than the wound? No, I'm just a bit tired. That's all.
Do you have anyone in your mind right now, Fritz? Do you have anyone in your mind right now, Fitz?
Barry. From across the street. He still owes me.
Don't say it. Just keep repeating it in your heart. Just repeat it to yourself over and over. Then go back home alive and tell him yourself. Use the power of pettiness to survive.
The patient is conscious and has no fractures, internal bleeding, or acute infection. Alright. The wound has been cleaned. I will now bandage it and apply anti-inflammatories. You should be fine with some rest. You did well, Delphine.
Lieutenant, do you ever think about wanting to rewind time to the day our ship was raided?
If we can win, sure.
I'm on the same mind. Because of my mistakes, my incompetence, we were miserably defeated by the Sarkaz. I don't want that to happen again today. Lieutenant, please take Fitz back. I'm still needed here. What about us, Vina? Travel lightly, quickly break through the encirclement, and go for the pedestal. Horn bagpipe. We're counting on you to cover our flank. You heard that, Hannah, Morgan, Dagda. We're gonna charge forward and never look back. Sounds like we're rushing straight into a fight for our lives. I'm getting excited already. Shut it already, Hannah. This bunker's not gonna hold. Where's the location of the next bunker? The strange man in the hat's already found it for us. Keep your eyes peeled for his signal. Those soldiers up there are Caster's guards. We're almost there. The bombardment is thinning out. Delphine's forces have managed to draw away a large chunk of their firepower. I can see the pedestal clearly now. Get down. Hold on. The attack just now wasn't from the Sarkaz. Captain, it's the Glorious.
The Glorious has noticed us. Its guns are clearing the way for us.
Hold on to it. Press onward. They continue to charge into the Tempest, to where the artillery fire converges to where their enemies are. Hammer smashes into bone, and sword cleaves through flesh. Those standing shoulder to shoulder are getting heavier injuries, yet they no longer bother to wipe the blood from their faces. They continue pressing forward, no matter how perilous, they never stop. The Glorious is right there in front of them, and Vina can already hear the roar of battle coming from above.
Hold out a bit longer. We're about to break through.
In distinct sarcasm language,
You shall not pass.
What's going on? I've lost all sensation in the arm holding my hammer. Vina! The size of kings! The size of kings has been knocked flying! After it! Not the size of kings! The size of kings? That's the sword, but I had it on my back.
Death. The final end.
Damn it, Vina, stand up! Help her! Bagpipe, cover my back. I need to reload. I can block the blades. Bloody hell. Why can't I run any faster? A dark shadow. Something is approaching me. Vina! Victoria. Victoria! Victoria! Vina could never forget that voice, even if she can no longer make out all the information it contains.
But her intuition tells her that it is a name that is associated with her entire life. The ground shatters, and along with it, 3 mobile altars. White vapor erupts, and a fiery red blade emerges. Ooh! A new challenger approaches to the war. Oh my. Steam Knight? Is it you?
Look! A Steam Knight! A Steam Knight stands with us! Victoria's glory has returned, and he stands with us. Follow him to battle. Slay them! Slay every last Sarkaz! Glory to Victoria!
What a grand entrance. Look at all the players gathering on the field. Muffled gushing sound.
Slash, pierce, charge. The suit of armor fights valiantly and ferociously. The path behind him is soon littered with Sarkaz corpses and the fragments of shattered altars. Witchcraft missiles fall at his feet, crossbow bolts fly towards him, blades slash at his body. But he never stops. He cleaves apart the next enemy, sweeping them away, along with any traces they left on him. A Steam Knight still lives?
That's right. We saw him inside the city.
But why? Is he here now?
He came with a sword. Vina! I can still fight.
But the sword is gone.
I see the size of kings. It's lying atop a pile of bodies in the combat zone. I'll retrieve it for you. Just as you said, pounce onto it and press onward. Don't look back. I promise you that the sword will appear when it is needed.
Vina, I will keep going. Cover me.
We're gonna trust you, Mr. Trilby Asher. She clenches the hammer in her hands, shrugging off all doubt and hesitation. She has placed her trust in not just her partners, but also the people who she had never trusted before. No, she placed her trust in all of Victoria. The Victoria she believes in. Run faster, almost there.
Arg! Don't force it! Get hit again and you're goner.
The mobile altar.
It stopped?
Then who fired that shot? One of our own tanks?
Vina, we're connected with the Duke of Five's suit of armor. We've also located the Captain Seymour. He's still alive. More troops are on their way to join us. We'll handle all those altar that are flying around.
Great news. Let's keep moving. Don't you dare get in our way.
Fight time? Okay, not yet.
We've used up the last of our ammunition. That means it'll come down to some good old CQC.
Roger that, Captain.
Pretty nostalgic, right? Reminds me of our academy days. Let's see how these Sarkaz like our technique. Let them try to get past us.
The Stone of Sword is right ahead, with the corrosive fog.
Your Royal Highness, my colleagues have secured the Glorious. The next time our cooperation is needed, the Exemplars will hear from the Trilby once more. Finally, allow me to use my Originium arts, as well as a little bit of authority, to light your way.
A ray of green light cuts through the dense fog of decay. Deep within the storm, the Stone of Sword radiates with light.
Alright, the sword. After thinking things through, one really should not disobey a Duke's orders.
Really? Come on!
But I also made a promise to your Royal Highness. That's quite a pickle. Alright then, catch!
Okay, good job. A silver light streaks across the battlefield, piercing through the fog. The size of kings, a blade so common it does not attract the attention of soldiers on either side of the battlefield.
I've got it. Don't turn back now, Siege. This is the final stretch.
Don't worry about me, Captain. Go with them. The storm rises on the battlefield, but the White Wolf has already leapt up. Aim, fire, a procedure she knows by heart.
Take it, Siege.
The longsword left her hand, cutting through the air as countless eyes followed its path. Vina never looks back. She simply continues running, carefully listening to every last sound. Swoosh! The sound of metal vibrating through the air, the sound of air being cut apart by a sharp object. She forcefully throws down the hammer in her hands. Its massive head lodges into the cliffside, creating a tiny foothold for her. She steps onto it and leaps. And when she extends her hand, the size of King's has already found its way into her palm. Nice catch!
Indra, Morgan, remember how we used to chuck Molotov cocktails into the chimneys of the nobles? Yeah, we sat on each other's shoulders. But this time, I'll be running ahead first.
The Originium beneath her feet felt like alive, unlike any wall or mountain she's ever traversed before. How much farther? How much longer will it be until the dark clouds disperse, and the war draws its last breath? She fled Londinium to the land beyond its walls, and from there she returned. How much farther must she go before she returns to her peaceful homeland and to the people she loves? Vina does not know, but at least the stone of the sword is right before her eyes. She extricates her hammer with all of her might. She knows what she must do. She leaps up, hammer and sword held high in her hands, glimmering in the sunlight.
And now we fight! From the light. Oh gosh. Okay.
The chill of the Asher. Man. Yeah, I'd be in the first half, not gonna lie.
The Sarkas, they're coming siege.
So hey, that means there's hope of the size of Kings in action. I wanna see it, come on. Please, let me see it after all this. After all this craziness. Dang, look at them doing a thing. 105 enemies with that. Ooh, they need a healer. Uh-oh. Ah.
Bagpipe. All hands. We've almost reached the stone of the sword. Heavy gushing.
You know, you want to make your entrance, thank you. Alright. Dang, look at how powerful he is.
Vina, don't hesitate. Right now, we have a chance. The only one up we'll get.
Oh? Siege leaps up. The edges of the stone of the sword cut her palm and slip away. The Originium mountain quakes, almost flinging her from it. Just one step further. One more miracle. The knight who was Victorian never forgot his duty. He streaked across the sky, picking up the golden lion who held the realm blade. A dull sound came from the bloodied suit of armor.
Glorious. Victoria!
The stone lies just ahead. The waves of Originium rise and fall, countless crystal shards surround her. But the one in the eye of the storm will not waver, not anymore.
For the Glasgow gang. For Londinium. For all who died. And for all who live.
The golden line roars at the storm. The size of Kings plunges down. Ooh! Sword and its stone become one. There is an explosion of golden light. It falls on the crystals and on her, shining towards heaven and earth. Ooh, look at it! The golden radiance pierces the red demonic eye, tearing a hole in the curtain of death above. Ooh, it's pretty! A miracle has happened. A legend has returned. A hero's sword cleaved through catastrophe, bringing golden hope that fell upon the eyes of every Victorian on the battlefield. Londinium will yield to no storm. As long as they have the size of kings, there is no foe they cannot overcome. Victoria! Victoria! The exemplars! The exemplars! Vina! Vina! The cries from a great wave, lifting up the exhausted hero. Siege looks up at the size of kings. The sword in its stone looks entirely ordinary, as though it was no more than a key. She knows more than ever that the sword has never granted anyone power, nor has she suddenly become one of the heroes of legend. She stands here now because of the countless eyes that have witnessed her, the countless hands that have lifted her up. Yay! She did the thing! Ooh! Okay, the others are back. Nice. Very, very nice. A legend is bestowed by the people. The miracle you hold already existed before Lugaus, Zargus, and I met. In the depths of the Golden Sands, explorers who should have been devoured by catastrophes found safe haven because of this relic. The relic was forged into a treasured blade, and I carried it along with the young Shaw into the endless sands. I still remember what he said as he rested against my mane beneath the stars. It shall have a name, but the name is not mine to give. Then, as legends go, he took up the blade and slew the poltergeist king. He never returned. Nobody in the land was worthy of giving that sort of name, but a legend was nevertheless born. A hero's sword, the hero's sword. It passed through the hands of many kings, until at long last, the lion with hair as bright as the sun used it to sever the red dragon's head. That story, you're already familiar with it, Vina. Beneath the gleaming blade, the lion and dragon ultimately stood side by side and swore an oath to lift the crown together. Alas, the hero's sword would slay no more, but would instead be regarded as the highest authority. It has endured loss and betrayal, yet its brilliance as a symbol of authority has never dimmed. As Lugos Zarga said, "You have all sung of it from the generation to generation, using the name it was given, the size of kings. No matter how many times it is reforged, craftsmen will always be able to hear the sighs from within the sword. They say that it is the king sighing, lamenting that the glorious empire no longer has enemies worth conquering." Imagine if that's why it was sighing. It was like, I'm waiting for a worthy challenger. Come on, worthy challenger. But it was never the kings who were sighing, but rather the blade itself. A miracle dug out from the Golden Sands more than a millennium ago. Still, they had the right to give meaning to the sword. Vina, legends are never told by the heroes themselves. But you continued its story. Perhaps in 20 years, the children will sing, "Alexandrina, the sword of Victoria, the king who banished a Sarkis tyrant." But is this the story you want to hear? And by whose right do you wield the sword? The kings, the heroes, the people's? Gawain. Got you, Vina. You did it, Vina. The enemy forces encircling the Glorious are retreating before the Duke's forces. Vina, hang in there. We'll catch up to you soon enough. The other Duke's troops have heard news of the Duke of Castor, and are now willing to work together with the Exemplars. At least, this is settled before the fighting engulfed Londinium. Waves of cheering pour through the communicator, each louder than the last. But the battle continues. The size of kings is sheathed within the stone of the sword. This is not the end, but merely the beginning.
The Steam Knight is helping us? No. I'd say he only came for the Realm Blade.
Siege's gaze falls onto the devastated battlefield where the Steam Knight went on its warpath. She looks for the other shadow, but is nowhere to be found. Ooh, pretty. Siege grips her hammer tightly and stands it for her companions, just like she had done so many times before.
Let's continue the fight until the moment of victory actually arrives.
This chapter has lots and lots of pretty art.
The Realm Blade is now active. Looking up from here, the golden pillar of light is truly breathtaking. 2 decades ago, I first saw the prototype of our Stone of the Sword in the workshop, and I've been waiting for this moment ever since.
It's pretty.
The light that thunders catastrophe is no longer a myth or a heroic tale in alleyways. Can you envision it? Beneath the shade of this light, our people will no longer need to live in fear of catastrophe. Our city will be eternally glorious. Back then, nobody could have imagined it would ever be used for this purpose. That it would be used in a war started by those barbaric devils in a ravaged land outside Londinium's gates. And it was done by the hands of my dear brother's orphan. With the aid of the exemplars. For decades, the pedestal has been integral to our strategy Victoria. What should have become Caster's triumph is now part of the legacy of the former king's heirs. Your Grace, we are sorry for betraying your expectations. You call it betrayal? No. The Glorious was saved and Victoria was saved. What is there for me to be disappointed about? The miracle blooming in the battlefield, I can even hear my own guards whispering these words. I believe your Sir Suffolk would share the same opinion, no? The poet should be acting in accordance with the military protocol and retreating with the Realm Blade. I'll be sure of this. There's no rush. Whether this is a dereliction of duty or show of loyalty, I should decide for myself. What's happened has happened. There's no need to worry about the Realm Blade's fate for now. At least, this isn't necessarily a bad thing either. Connect to the Exemplar's internal communication channel. Use the Alliance line. Your Grace, there's a risk of being tapped. Talk less and do your job. Very well. Whose communication frequency is this? I didn't turn it on. Well done, Exemplars. Well, stuff me! Your Grace, I thought you'd at least want to meet me in person. Indeed. Arrangements for that meeting have already been made. But after the Realm Blade's activation, all intel on the battlefield flowed to me once again. Opportunities on the battlefield are fleeting, and I was too preoccupied to make use of it. Siege, what you've accomplished is nothing short of a miracle. I will reevaluate the role that the Exemplars could play in this war. With all due respect, I do not recall opening our communications channels to you. As of right now, I assume your channels are open to all of Victoria's Alliance forces. They will begin their counterattack by retaking Silver Rock Bluffs. Are the Exemplars willing to work with us to create a miracle? Under the banner of the Dukes? No, the Exemplars cannot, and will not be affiliated with any of the ducal forces. This much I can assure you.
Well, thanks, Duke of Caster.
You must operate as a heroic, independent unit. Alexandrina, you will come to know what the Exemplars mean to Victoria. For now, we undoubtedly stand on the same side. Take count of your troops. It is time to go.
That was surprisingly cool of her. That golden light. The size of kings has taken effect. Siege of the Exemplars have done it.
The situation on the battlefield will finally stabilize. No longer afflicted by the extreme originium-dense environment, Victoria's forces will be free to display their full potential. The military commission's defeat on the main battlefield is inevitable. Even if there are still disputes among the dukes, the overall strength and sustained combat capability of the Victorian army far eclipses what the Sarkaz can muster. Additionally, Victoria just enjoyed a massive morale boost. It won't be long until the scales of victory tip towards Victoria.
Yes.
Amiya. Teresa's must have foreseen this when he decided to start this war and fill the trenches of a foreign land with the Sarkas' lives.
I know, Dr. Kelsey. But the more this happens, the more I find myself thinking, what kind of future are they hoping for with so many people thrown away for nothing?
Whatever that might be.
Kelsey looks up into the crimson sky. The storm is not completely halted. The originium dust swirling in the inverted airflow was only temporarily driven back by the size of kings, and now rages even more violently than before. Perhaps they all feel the same way, exhausted just from trying to avert the advent of disaster.
We're only one step from the abyss. Return from whence you came.
On the other side of the canyon, is that a crystal cluster that's flowing? Logos!
No matter how many tricks they have up their sleeves, they cannot conceal the blood. I've removed the Compasirius' illusions.
Once we go over there, we'll find the real altar.
The truth is within reach. However, the shadow is still approaching. Or is also approaching.
It's cold, way too cold. You feel the temperature abruptly change again before you know it. You're surrounded once more by a thick, swamp-like fog. Sudaram! Are there still this many?
This is the Notch-Zera's last line of defense in front of the true altar. This is where Nesalem intends to stop us. He does not want us to get any closer. The lament of the dead fills the air above the battlefield. The Notch-Zera's power is almost at its very peak. I have seen the dark clouds of death hanging on the horizon. If the scorching sun no longer shines, I shall cast a light that pierces the fog here.
We will.
Cross over to the other side, find Salus, and destroy the blood of Tikaz. May the wails of the dead find some quiescence.
Logos lifts his hand and points to the other side of the canyon. The congealing mist parts once more.
Very.
Brief yet powerful, Logos seems to both be describing a physical action and uttering an incantation at once. Originium crystals surge like waves in front of you, stretching all the way to the other side of the canyon, until they form a narrow but stable bridge.
The Notch-Zera King will come for us, and someone has to hold him back. I will stay behind.
Logos, just you alone?
Amiya, do you still have the package I left with you before? Please give it back to me.
Of course, but...
Good, with this, there won't be any problems. Now go.
Death is pursuing you. You run with all your might. Maybe it's Amiya who's pulling you, Monster who's dragging you along, or Logos who's pushing you ahead with his incantation. You hardly even feel your feet touching the ground, but it is as if 1,000 bony hands are growing from the mist, trying to lash onto your ankles. But the aura of decay fails to reach you in the end. A formless barrier envelops your body, keeping the haze at bay. You know that Logos' incantation is taking effect. In this moment, the Banshee's curse feels so gentle and warm. Thank you, Logos! You hear something collapsing and look in its direction. The bridge has disappeared just as quickly and cleanly as when it appeared. The thick fog once again teems forth, impatient. You search for that familiar figure, but perhaps because he is too far, or perhaps because the fog is too thick, you cannot see anything at all. Is Logos in danger? I'm a bit worried.
Doctor, this is the decision that Elite Operator Logos made. He has the right to make his own tactical judgments based on the situation at hand. He believes that it would be most beneficial for us to head to the real altar while he faces the Notch-Zeras head-on. Answer me, Doctor. Do you trust him? Do you trust Elite Operator Logos?
I do! Yes, I trust him.
Then you should also trust that he will regroup with us when we are in need. I understand your desires, sign of decay. But death should not be so cacophonous. Quiet.
The whistle pierces through the thick fog, the incantation spreading in ripples. Nothing needs to be spoken, nothing needs to be written. The concealed dead have nowhere to hide. The Sudaram's piercing shriek forms into a longsword that shuttles through the fog. The words from the whistle quiver, and the Banshee's song resounds. Within the ancient bloodlines of the Sarkas, in the valley choked with originium, amidst the lamentations of countless people who fell in battle. Flaming shells and witchcraft, imbued rounds intertwine in the skies above the battlefield. A high-speed battleship crashes into a witchcraft bastion. A small number of Victorian soldiers charge headfirst into the entire squad of Notchzerers. The song grows louder and clearer. When the song reaches its climax, the Notchzerer soldiers fall into silence and stop attacking one after another, like motionless flags. They no longer hunt. At last, death has returned to the land.
War has come to answer your song.
The withered branches retreat in unison. They coil, then lie down, returning once more to their long-deceased forms. The most hideous and ancient among them still seem to be struggling unwillingly, finally twisting into a scepter. The tip of the scepter strikes to the ground, and a figure emerges from the depths of the dense fog.
Ephaniel, the master of the Elegia court. You chose to stay behind and face me alone.
The corners of his clothes flutter as the fog disperses. The Pseudoram's white robes are scattered across the dense white hills of withered branches. Long swords lie fallen and shattered, like grass in the forest. The young banshee sits sideways atop the hill, his blood-stained fingers plucking at the bone whistle in front of his lips. Gentle, melodious.
No, Miss Salem. There is no such master here. Only Logos, elite operator of Rhodes Island, dressed to greet our guest. I have crafted this opus from death's motive, and I dedicate to you.
Wow, beautiful. Well, now it's gonna be Logos versus Miss Salem. Unless the Duke of Wellington makes another grand appearance to, you know, go for his buddy, his total bestie now on the battlefield. Miss Salem, they can fight each other. Of hero. Oh. Okay. It's gonna be Logos' time. Alright. I'm gonna press mission start. Blah, 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 blah. All the eyes can see is death. Endless killing, life takes life, fields of corpses soaked in blood. The first Notchzerer learned his purpose when he rose from the ashes of battle. I am the end of all things.
Penetrate.
The incantation pierces the Notchzerer like a lance. It happened so fast it was almost impossible to see its trajectory, as though it has taken effect by the time the words left his lips. A smooth hole appears in Miss Salem's chest. There is no change in his expression. Withered branches reach down from his staff, reach into the hole in his torso, and fill the gap. Well, I don't know if this is working. How could this be? In this battle alone, the young Banshee has casted dozens of arts that were not of Sarka's origin. Ravel, the greatest arts master of Gaul. His life's work made the guns of Gaul's ships mighty. And he was famous in all the nations before the Witch King made his own name known throughout the land. In that war, there was an instant when the ships of Gaul ripped across the lines of death like a sharp sword before death swallowed them. Why do I see shadows of him in your arts?
Your words can't kill me. The voice that calls me is louder than your incantations by far.
I can hear it. The dirge of the fallen echoes within you.
Thousands of war altars spread across the battlefield. They absorb what life leaves behind when it dies. The culmination of the power stands before Logos, the most powerful Notchzerer, and the most terrible war altar.
Notchzerers witnessed death. We take in all who were brave, friend or foe. In the endless cycle of life and death, they will be remembered and honored. Cowards deserve only dust. Tell me, my foe, Is it a young hero who stands before me, or a despicable traitor? Your judgment does not interest me. This is not where the power of words lie.
Logos once again gathers power in his palm. A second wound appears on the Salem's body, stretching from the shoulder to his chest. The incantation does not dissipate. It fends off the branches trying to close in, and prevents the energies of the dead from repairing the Notchzera's body. Shredded cloth rises and falls, covering the new wound and countless old scars.
What is this? Death may feed the Notchzera, but the Banshee can put death itself to rest. You are no longer the sole master of war in Salem. You're more gifted in incantation than any Banshee I know. Lakura Malign included. A shame though. Why do you not sing for the dead if you truly mourn them? Elegy cannot actually put the dead to rest. Neither the living nor the dead will find true rest as long as war continues. Preposterous! You have vanquished the Damasti and banished the vampire. You, a sovereign of the royal court, have royal court blood on your hands. You dare say it is all because you are avoiding war? Is your rebellion the only reason you stand in my way?
The Notchzera floats up in fury. The branches underneath him disintegrate, and decay fills the canyon. The Banshee's chanting does not give ground. Salem's just like,
Kids these days, I don't understand them.
ooh, welcome, welcome, and thank you for the gacha luck. Born in death, fueled by war, and nourishing death, the life of the Notchzera is as war itself. Cities and kingdoms rise and fall, but the fate of the Notchzera never changes. Once a Notchzera clan, tired of the cycle, put down their sword and staves and went into the depths of the wastes, far from civilization. Their powers declined rapidly in peace, and they soon became prey for others, fading away in a forgotten corner of the land. There is no other way to ensure the continued existence of the Notchzeras. The great rock of war sits above our heads on the slopes of time. All we can do is push it with all of our strength. Such cycle has continued for thousands of years. Today was pretty fun, actually. For my lunch break, I decided to not eat lunch. I wanted to exercise a lot. So I found like an empty area and I was just walking the entire time, and also, you know what, deciding to practice some karaoke before Wednesday. But oh my goodness, singing while running around, it's difficult, but I feel like that was a good training session. It at least trained my lungs real good. Until we promise a war, Notchzera King, about the future and nothing else. I have a feeling I'm probably gonna eat a lot when I island hop later on this week, so I am being slightly good and preparing my stomach for when I feast. Assuming I feast. If I don't end up feasting this week, gosh darn it. Oh well, exercise is good nonetheless. My best students, the young twin royals, I taught them the laws of war. They stood before me and told me, we can end the monotony of war and break the rigid cycle. We can push the rock to the top of the mountain and build a splendid palace within it. Or with it. This war will be my blaze of glory. It must not end here. Ooh, hello, what's up? I am continuing the main story of Arknights. That was a long time ago. I think I can probably finish episode 14 before a new event starts. Good thing it's a rerun after this. Then I can just farm. Now a young banshee stands before me. I need to spend more lunch breaks walking though, because I want to go to Japan next year, and I know there's going to be tons and tons of walking there, so I gotta make sure I am extra prepared. I do not want to be in pain during vacation time, so I have to make sure that I am sufficiently exercised enough, or whatever the saying would be. How could they be so alike?
I've fought alongside Lockworm Malign for decades, across cities and plains. We buried the armor of Victoria and the guns of Gaul beneath the walls of Kazel together. In the same battle, I helped Teresa take the heads of thousands of Lathanian casters. They were the heroes of Kazdel, its greatest warriors. Lakura Malai entrusted you with the future of the Banshees. Teresa considered you one of her best students, but you hid at Rhodes Island, sheltered the King of Sarkaz, and sneaked into the Londinium like a thief, content to sabotage the cracks of the battlefield. War will not end the suffering of the Sarkaz. All I see is you dragging everything into the abyss. Everyone into the abyss. So you chose to run. Many years ago, I said to Teresa that war was unavoidable. If it did not come to Londinium, it would come to Kazdel.
And yeah, I'm planning to go to Japan during cherry blossom season. I want to see the pretty sakura. Though I am wondering how busy it's gonna be. I gotta make sure I'm prepared for crowds. Super duper prepared. That means I should probably do some more learning for Japanese. I know it's fine to go there without really knowing, but I want to be able to function a little bit easier in life. Plus, it's good for over here. There's lots and lots of tourism over here already, so it'd be good for my resume, honestly. Teresa agreed, but continued to hope that there could be another solution. Her choice led to a new war. Its consequence was the death of the King of Sarkaz. I witnessed her death. All Sarkaz should honor her. What about you? What can you bring to Sarkaz aside from these meek words? What do you want to bring to Sarkaz? He points his staff at the ground. The scent of decay rushes out, overpowering the barrier of incantations. Growls. The dirge of the myriad souls grows louder. The power of the incantations is weakening. He feels his fingers, lips, and tongue go numb. I don't know if I'm gonna bring my computer, or at least my streaming computer, over. No. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna bring my computer over to Japan or not. I will have classes during that time. I might just borrow one of my family members' laptop because they're gonna have to bring them for work anyway. So haha, I could just leave mine at home. Hehe. And if anything, I would probably stream on Area because it's on the phone. It's a phone app. I just gotta practice using it, which I'm going to debut one on Wednesday. We'll see how it's gonna be. I'm hoping that it's gonna be scuff-free like I'm hoping. But knowing me and my luck with technology, I feel like I'm gonna somehow cause bad things. But at the same time, I'm gonna be hopeful. I am going to believe that my scuff luck, it was just for the weekend and that everything's okay now it's the weekdays. Haha. I still gotta make a Discord server. I've been lazy. I've been slacking. The fury does not come only from the ancient royal court sovereign before him. It is also coming from his own blood.
I told you. Ducariel, I witnessed with my own eyes.
My death? You and the king both know you can't kill me. With your help, I've come to an interesting place. It is not all nothingness beyond history, but I continue to gaze at you beyond the veil. You have come so far, little banshee. You and the Outblood King seek the drop of blood I left behind.
Ducariel's just haunting them from beyond the void. He's just there to haunt. Wow. He just wants to stick around to just watch them.
The blood of Tikaz, the pure blood I coveted. You believe that you can prevent calamity from occurring again by destroying it. It's true. True. Destroy the altar, put a temporary stop to the funabula of suffering. Allow the Victorian nitwits to cling to life a bit longer. How boring. Who is the one that's short-sighted and foolish here? You feel it, don't you? You're closely linked to the altar, right here, right now. Your power is being boosted by it. It was never one drop of blood or a single person's call that awakened the kunabula of suffering. Originium is the response to the call of the Sarkaz. To the call of all Sarkaz, living and dead, no exceptions. The murmur of the myriad souls is omnipresent.
The lament of the dead will not stop. The Sarkas are bound by the past from the moment of their birth, never to be freed, even unto death. You witnessed the myriad souls the first time you sang an elegy. Lakura Maline proudly described your talent to us. This talent was a seed of descent. You feel pain, not just for others, but for yourself as well. You may detest the path I walk, but you could not help but feel sorrow for me, for my sake. I feel sorrow for how you're trapped by the past. Such arrogance! I should try to kill you again, but instead I will bless you. The slaughterer and the slaughtered. They are all part of the cycle. I'm here because of you.
Logos does not smell any blood. The incantation easily impales the Sanguinarch's body, causing only a few small ripples.
Your blood is still linked to my elegy. Of course, of course. You stand with me, no matter how much you resist. We're all sovereigns of the royal court, after all. The oldest bloodlines of the Sarkas. I should be glad that you could conquer me, for it proves that you are stronger, and more worthy of carrying the fate of the Sarkas, leading them to your path.
The Sanguinarch of Vampires laughs, turning around and disappearing into the cave. His silhouette fades away amongst the originium crystals, but his voice continues to echo in Logos' ears. What's with all the sassy old men never being able to just calmly take the L? And so they always have to come back and just be sassy like that. Like heck, there's sassy uncle, sassy snake uncle with Tallulah. There's this dude. Heck, there's even that one voice that kept on bothering Ebonholes. Gosh darn it, these petty losers.
Bless you, Ephanuel, my vanquisher. Assimilate my blood, utilize my power, let your hatred of me fuel your battles. You will walk in my place and witness in my stead how far the flames of Sarkas' vengeance will burn. I refuse. Nofserer, vampire. We all hear the same cry. The fate of the Sarkas is caught in a cycle, and I am no exception. I am part of what I'm fighting. The fury of the Sarkas burns within my veins and my viscera.
Even more cool art. Words turn to fire, descending from the sky to ignite every seed of the earth. On the earth, incantations burn at Logos' fingertips, on his lips, in his chest. Originium crystals grow furiously around him, and the crying of the dead becomes even louder, ready to accept him and devour him at any time. He no longer rejects the power in his blood. The vampire has guided the flames of the Sarkas to him, and he has embraced the fire.
The abyss lies before us. We can fill it with flesh and burn the remnants with blood. If the only way to bring new life is to burn away all the decay, then I will be both flame and fuel. This is where my blood belongs. That I have chosen.
Flames consume the entire canyon. The only things left are the incantations that the young Banshee has written in his entire life. From a very young age, they surround Logos loyally, his sword and shield.
If war is the only way to achieve the dream, and new life can only emerge from death, I shall bring death. I shall welcome death. I shall ignite my past with blood, not for vengeance, but for the day when this fire will burn away with what shackles the Sarkas, through the decay that covers the land.
A bone whistle sounds. Logos knows that it is merely the echo of the bone whistle in the Valley of the Banshees, the night he set out for Babel. From death comes new life. The death knell rings, for the royal court that would rot, past and future, and for himself.
Oh, now the fight begins!
Let's see how this be.
The whispers stop, the rot halts. Ooh, look at those enemies. Terrifying. Let's give him some support, actually. You know, that's good. Support is good. Healer is good too. Healer was good. No! Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Ew. No. How dare ye? Stinkers. Humph. Well, at least I can kind of get them here. Some of them, anyways. Evil. That's right. Humph. I'm just Logos' support from here. But I want Wizardo to shine too. They were on the same banner after all. They can be cute like that. Oh, and he's here too. Ew. No, stop it. Uh-oh. Stop being cringe. Hey, you stop. Oi. Oi. Can you just like not? Stop. Stop it. Oi. Quit it. You punks. At least Myrtle's safe. She's fine, she's adorable. I guess I really don't have to do anything.
You push yourself to the limit, burning all the blood in your body to blow your bone whistle. Just to stop me for a moment. Nathaniel. How long can you last when the war continues still? You've gained the Noxera's respect, and so I shall now grant you death.
How about no?
Mission accomplished.
A death knell. Logos' bone whistle. A bone whistle? For whom? Amiya? I'm fine, Doctor. I'm just reminded of a lot of things. Logos really conducted himself as the Lord of Banshees when we were at Rhodes Island. He said that he was no different from Scout or Misery, just another Sarkis operator who believed in the ideals of Rhodes Island. The day we set out, when Logos put on his royal court garment, I sensed great determination in his eyes, and great sorrow. Great sorrow indeed. The bone whistle has cracked. The bone pen is broken. Blood flows the corner of his lips. For this stream, the what part I was most excited for was the Salem versus the Duke of Wellington. Until it was interrupted. That was a big ha. And then the Size of Kings was cool. But gosh darn it, I wanted to see the old man fight.
You can no longer use witchcraft. You push yourself to the limit, burning all the blood in your body to blow your bone whistle. Just to stop me for a moment. Nathaniel, you are a fine warrior.
The Noxera King spreads his arms wide. The tattered banners draped over him rise up, as though echoing the countless wars of the Sarkas have fought. Rotten flesh and blood fall from his wounds, new and old. Ew. Nourishing the battlefield, new branches sprout out from the soil, repairing the warriors that have been damaged by incantations. The fallen Sudaram rise again.
But you are not fighting one or a few. There have been no shortage of revolutionaries among the Sarkas or the royal court. They've all failed, just like Teresa did. War is the great boulder destined to fall atop the Sarkas in the abyss again and again. And you've gained the Noxzera's respect, and so I shall now grant you death.
The Noxzera walks atop the mists of decay towards a young banshee. Oh, he's up close. He's really close. He's coming in for a hug.
Sever.
The banshee utters the final incantation, so soft it's almost inaudible. The cutting words become a tangible blade, which he grabs with his hand and cuts off the Noxzera King's right arm.
Teresa's his swordcraft.
The full blast of the Noxzera King's power hits Logos in the chest. He falls from a cliff. The ground made of originium begins to collapse. Logos pictures how the familiar ship treads mountains and rivers, its tracks giving off the same rumbling. He remembers the first time he came to Rhodes Island and stood shoulder to shoulder on the deck with Teresa. She looked out over Castel, while he listened to the wailing of the wind. He remembers mechanists hunched over, fiddling with parts, chiding closure for wasting materials, Outcast and Blaze betting on how long it would last, and a robotic arm reaching over to grab his hat. He remembers Ace's bloodied palm by his side, by his shield and cup. Scout's palm was a little cooler, but the temperature of his crossbow, he could tell them apart by shaking their hands and high-fiving. He remembers the doctor and Amiya saying goodnight in the corridors, when Amiya suddenly stopped him to ask if he was ready to go to Lindinium. He remembers Dr. Kelsey taking Amiya's hand and bringing her between them. Teresa's gone. Amiya's the new leader of Rhodes Island. Logos keeps falling until he is completely submerged in cold water. He remembers himself many years ago.
You have made your decision. Yes. I will stay at Rhodes Island and journey the land with the ship. Teresa's gone. The dream of Babel lives. Her Highness has named her heir. She is young, but she carries a familiar fire in her eyes that belongs only to dreamers. And it's not just for her that I chose to stay. The journey of Her Highness's search hasn't ended, and it should not end like this. I will continue the journey as long as the answer to the future of the Sarkas lies elsewhere. I may not come back to the valley for a long time. Do you feel sorry because you cannot stay with us? I will not act as a sovereign of the royal court outside the valley. Many will see my will as the will of the royal court. They may see the banshees as their enemies. I'm afraid I won't be able to help you fend off any storms coming from outside the valley. If any old friends want to pay a visit, I'll be sure to give them a warm welcome. I will not question the former master of the Valley of the Banshees. My sister and I worry for you in the same way. Take our thoughts with you.
The song of the Banshee surrounds their young lord. The water becomes warm like a pair of warm hands that pull the fallen back. Logos opens his eyes. He seems to see his mother, and everyone else he holds dear. Nathaniel, the most beautiful wave of the valley. Its loveliest song. We must stay and watch you go away. But our blessing will be with you wherever you go. Aw, what a beautiful moment from his family. Hang in there, Nathaniel. We're with you. We've always been with you. The power of the incantation fills Logos to the very ends of his limbs. He opens his lips again. A song filled with power echoes on the river, reflecting the most beautiful wave. All the pursuers are compelled to stop. And this is how we got our new robot friend? From this touching scene of the power of love within Logos' family, we gain a new robot friend. Well, I did not expect that's how we got that.
I never thought I would hear the chorus of the banshees here in this distant land. Ever is death accompanied by new life. Are you still trying to sway me with song, young one, here at the end of all things? My patriarch, there is no more than a banshee's incantation. They have not truly joined the battle. Our foe remains only the young banshee. Yes, your injuries are grave. The curse of Ephaniel dictates that decay return to decay. I will not be able to regenerate for some time, but this body will last long enough to see this battle through. For now, let me hear his song, and that of the banshees.
Nasalem walks to the edge of the cliff without the help of any arts. For an instant, he looks like an ordinary old man.
Do you remember Bojo Kasti? Yes. You raised him as you would raise your own son. Such a talented boy. He would have become the hero of Casdell. He was my best student, but he left Casdell and died to a conspiracy in a distant land. But he died a warrior. He lived the meaning of life through war, and returned to the myriad souls upon his death. After that, where is the next hero of Casdell?
Nasalem looks down the cliff. Wind passes through the holes in his body that have not healed, creating sounds without meaning. The dirge of the myriad of souls has grown softer. Logos' bone whistle has temporarily suppressed the link between the blood of Tikaz and Originium. This is our chance. Dr. Kelsey, this time, I won't let it slip from my hands. I believe in you, Mia.
They've caught up. Are you here too, dear to Sarsanag? You and our leader, our dear father, who'll be the one to approach the throne.
Salus reaches for the drop of blood at the top of the altar. Originium burns, and the myriad souls roar. The powerful witchcraft quickly turns her fingers into charred black crystals. I did like Akira Madeline, so yay! Technically forgetting her, woohoo! Not in the way I wanted, but still a win? Question mark?
I want to see it so badly. The origin is so near.
You.
You've hid well. It took a long time to find you. Too long.
Traitor! How many have you killed on your way here?
Not more than I killed when I escaped.
The underground labs were full of dead back then. Our dead. You ruined our leader's plans at the Royal Academy of Sciences. The Victorians almost found out about it because of you.
I wish you'd never succeeded.
Ha, that's not what you used to say. How dare you act high and mighty when you were the one who gave us our orders? That came outside Londinium. Of the research bases, was there any part of it that you weren't in charge of? The leader was in Kazda most of the time. You were the one who directed the research. You looked exactly like the leader with your mask on.
I had no choice back then.
No choice? But what about the things you said when you took us to Londinium and had us don this mask? We're mere mercenaries, but we believed in the Confessori's teachings, believed in the first and the final path that you preached. Our original sin, the sin that outsiders imposed upon us, will be washed away at its coming. Was it all a lie?
I wish that was a lie.
It wasn't a lie. It was real. All the leader's promises to us were sincere. The same for you, Chiu Sarsanag. Even if you'd strayed from the path. The leader and the regent are so close to victory. The freedom and power that have been lost for thousands of years are about to return to the hands of the Sarkaz. Kill me if you want. Go ahead and see the leader, your father. He's waiting for you at the end of the path. They're all waiting for you. You will witness it for us, for every life that your sword took.
Shining removes the guard's mask. She remembers the face. He was one of the first mercenaries that the confessary brought to Londinium. They knew nothing at first. They were only tasked to excavate the ruins outside the city. The young man had expressed his gratitude to her directly, thanked the confessary for giving them a safe, well-paid job. It was not long before she stopped hearing those words. The leader of the confessary came to Londinium. There were no more idle mercenaries drinking and playing games. Everyone put on the same mask and did not speak except when necessary. They had no special bloodline. Sartusteg should not have been able to control their will so easily. But the part of them that belonged to themselves died before the great dreams of the confessary. It was she who killed them first.
This sin has gone on long enough.
The mask cracks. The pieces stab at Shining's palm. She continues her journey to the top. Oh, now it's gonna be a father-daughter confrontation. Okay. Alright. How will this go? Okay, the map's not too scary, luckily. Yeah, not too bad at all. Boop, boop.
Chui Sarsenag. Mama's here, it's alright. I just need to talk to your father for a bit. Didn't you want to look around the outside? Just like the blue fowl beasts in your favorite story. The fowl beasts that can fly high up into the soft, lofty clouds. You can do it. You should live a free life. I'm sorry, my dear child. Mama will get you away from all this.
Chui Sarsenag. Enough hiding. I know you're there. You followed her in secret when she came to find me. You witnessed everything. That's good. You need not be afraid of the blood. You'll see much more in the future. Will I die? Of course, my dear. Look at this sore that has pierced through my heart. It won't take long before the blood of this body dries up. Your mother wants to leave me because of some pointless delusions, and have you leave me as well. But how is that possible? We have long been bound together by the myriad souls. We cannot be separated. Go, child. Touch your mother. Can you feel it? Her pulse. This is the power of life, our cycle of life. Through births like this, again and again, will our life be perfected. I will always be with you. We shall never part.
My dear Chui Sarsenag, you don't seem very happy at all. Didn't the experiment go smoothly? The receptacle has been responding perfectly for the last few tests. When the ceremony is complete, what will happen to her? Her, you mean? The receptacle? When it was born, it still was no longer with us. After all, the leader has been researching for so long just to craft a cage from a pure consciousness. To trick the king of Sarkaz. When that happens, the king's power will be transferred to you, and the receptacle will be useless. You can decorate it as a doll if you like, and bring her wherever you go. I do like to collect souvenirs too.
Yeah, their masks do look cool, not gonna lie. I am particularly drawn to a daughter, Shining's.
It is none of your concern. Ha, you're always so impolite with me. Want it out of your sight? Just dispose of it. Or you could give it to me? Leave. Do not step into my laboratory without my permission ever again. Why are you so offended? The leader and you have such different temperaments. Well, it's fine. You'll soon become as gentle as he is. Who knows, I might even miss your current personality. Goodbye, Chui Sarsenag.
She looks through her mask at the girl on the stone bed, returns her gaze. There is still work to do, and her father will not allow any delays. This altar, this laboratory, and the bloodline she was born into together form a cage around her. In the face of the confessaries calling for the past several millennia, her sorrow and suffering are insignificant. She does not control her own limbs, they are extensions of her father's will. She cannot stop or leave this altar fiddling with life and death, nor can she drop the soul-engraving white sword in her hand. Suddenly, a drop of water falls onto her busy hand. Who is the one shedding tears here? Her, or the figure in the bed, who should be completely unconscious? Chui Sarsanag. Distracted, she lifts her head and sees a blue foul beast fly out of the cave and into the dusk outside. Cracks appear in the cage. A consciousness that should not exist, yearning for freedom it could not possibly have. From this, hope is born. A compassarius and a pure white receptacle. Chui Sarsanag and Liz. Shining and Nightingale.
I'm hearing a din of discontent. Do not worry, leader. Only a few enemies have broken into this place. They want to destroy the altar and stop the ceremony. Annoying pests. Send someone to clean them up. Surely, I need not sully my hands with such trifles. Of course not. We shall eradicate all obstacles in your stead.
The confessarius leader looks at the girl dressed in white. She's so deep in sleep on the stone bed that she almost looks like she is not breathing.
The receptacles or Jannie are stable. The ceremony will soon be complete. We're only a step away before Omnanam will open a path for you to the myriad souls. You will surpass the king of Sarkaz, supersede the myriad souls, and become the father of all Sarkaz. With our journey spanning thousands of years, this is how things should be. Before that, I will have to reunite with my kin to witness it together. Right on time, sister. I've been waiting for you.
More confessarius guards incoming. Marilla, let's part ways here. I can't guarantee I'll be able to keep you and your companions safe in our next fight. The road should be safer once you leave this place. If you're willing to do so, you can continue heading east all the way out of Victoria.
Your Highness, I'll never forget your kindness, no matter where I end up.
But what are you guys planning to do?
This blade of mine is still usable if you need it.
Don't worry. We have our own mission and we're set on it. Please, take care of yourselves and then, I hope you can live the life you want to live.
Your Highness.
Marilla takes a step forward and kneels on one knee before Mia. The other two follow suit, all three faces bearing a rare solemn look.
You've gained the undying loyalty of, no, 3 Sarkaz.
Huh? Please, you don't have to do this. I'm rooting for those 3. I hope they're safe. I hope they stay safe. The mercenaries hesitate for a bit before trying to leave, fading from your view. Good luck to them. I hope Logos is doing well. Good luck to them first of all.
We have little time left, and the confessarius altar is close.
Logos help us dispel the confessarius illusions, and I can feel an unsettling energy disturbance here. So, are we going in loud? Any secret passage to the altar or something similar?
Time isn't going to let us slowly figure out a surefire solution. We can't overlook the risks, but it's also important to take irrational risks in our war strategies. Fortunately, the Sarkaz have done as much and sent all their troops into the front lines, so we need only deal with the confessarius' men.
Teresa's must trust to start to stay a lot. Why are the confessari in charge of the Omnanam event ceremony?
The confessari play many roles in Castel. They're the king's advisors, bodyguards, shamans, and scholars. They travel between the royal courts, and have always been dedicated to exploring Sarkis' history and researching the power of their blood. Teresa's already planned to use the Sharv to control Omnanam before invading Londinium, and the Confessori definitely helped him out. Chewy's Artistay's plan to usurp the king is also closely tied to Omnanam.
What does Omnanam have to do with the king?
Chewy's Artistay wants more than just the crown. He too once possessed the king's power thousands of years ago. He did not manage to get the full picture, but he definitely sensed the king's power to influence others. Control. The more you experience absolute power, the harder it is to resist temptations. Be it Teresa or Mia, Chewy's Artistay has been watching every single king and their successors in secret for a long time. His obsession with power compels him to extend his life by maniacal means without hesitation, just to seize control of that power once more.
He is the ultimate petty old man.
There is only one thing that can let him achieve his goal.
Originium.
Yes. Through Originium, Chewy's Artistay will be able to control the Sarkaz more than the king ever could.
Shining and Nightingale are also victims of his.
They never stopped resisting their fate, especially at such a critical moment as now.
We have to stop Omnanam and its uncontrollable effects. We have to stop the Confessori from harming Rhodes Island operators. We have to stop Omnanam! It's time to move. Om nom 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 nom.
Monster. Look out for enemies. Amiya, destroy the altar.
Dr. Kelsey, I'm sensing something's up. I can't quite control the king's power. The altar's influencing...
I've told you before. We've been researching the crown for thousands of years. But you? How long has it been since you learned how to use it? I welcome you all to bear witness to this grand ceremony.
No. No.
Chewy's Artistay. Everyone here is waiting for you.
The Confessori's leader smiles as usual, spreading his arms wide open as if welcoming his own child back after a long time away from home. Dozens of Confessori stand on top of both sides of the mountain path in silence. Their eyes behind their masks hold fervent deference, completely ignoring the blood-drenched Shining as she walks off the steps with her sword in hand.
I'm here to kill you. I know. How could I not know that? Many years ago, Mother showed up before Father, before me, just like you have now. She always knew her own duty and never thought to disobey me. But as you slowly grew, she developed a hatred to our family. The love I gave her, and the Confessori's calling. I don't blame her at all, nor do I blame you. You're the same, merely made a tiny, forgivable mistake. I will always accept you returning to my side. You are a monster. Were you to speak of love? Love and hate, life and death, they are fundamentally part of the same whole. The durations of Confessori have passed their souls down through the same rites. This is my way of loving my family.
Yeah, that is very awkward.
Souls in death are purified in rebirth. Through death after death, we close in on the original, the purest and perfect being. There is not a shred of that worthy to me to be perfect. Chewy's Artistay, your true self died thousands of years ago. The white-horned king of Sarkaz who defeated countless enemies, the legendary hero who built an everlasting castle under the day and night, is long dead. What stands before me now is but a despicable man who lives in the shadows, a coward who sacrifices the lives of innumerable innocents to prolong his own. Who is it that tarnishes the soul of that original hero? It's you, king of usurping kings. You got so twisted seeking longevity, you are no longer worthy of that crown.
Father Brother kind of reminds me of you-know-who from Tsukihime. At this point, it's like, longevity, huh? Swapping bodies, huh? You know who? You know who.
Perhaps. Chui Sarsenag, sister. I, who was born with all my memories intact, know better than you the history Chui Sartuste bears with his life.
The Confessorius leader takes a step down. He calmly looks at Shining and holds her hand trembling in rage.
I know all too well the blood that is on my hands, and I remember the love I have received. It was you who picked me up from the blood in your trembling arms when Mother died. We are a true family, sharing the closest of blood and sharing the closest of relationships. The nature of my soul may change, but the facts remain the same. How could you talk about that like so? Who was it that killed my brother? Who was it that turned him from a child who should have received his mother's love into a non-existence in the very beginning? It was me. For millennia, Chui Sartuste has died time and time again from betrayal from his closest kin. You may see this as punishment for if you wish it so. However, what does that matter? You call me unworthy of the crown, but who else but me could possibly lead the Sarkas on a path of our own survival? Juilon brought our people on a wandering path of no return. Aniela's retreat into the hiding would only make us weak. Even the pair of siblings, all they did was push the Sarkas into feudal conflict and let the crown slip into outblood hands. The Sarkas need a true king, an eternal king. I will reach our starting point, and together with the sins of Chui Sartuste and his blood, purge all the Sarkas' sins.
Sin. The word intensifies the ire in Shining. Her father and brother were both possessed by this undying monster, while she and her mother lived under the madness of the shadow. To let him live, to kill him, both are afflicted with the curse. She has no path to go. She has nowhere to retreat. But there is no way she can stay here as is.
Ugh. You made your move. Very good. Chui Sarsenag. I'll kill you. And then kill yourself? Is this what you call severing the bloodline's curse? The same stupidity, I see.
Chui Sartuste grabs Shining sword with hand. Blood trickles down the pure white blade and stains her hand. A shudder rises from the depths of her soul.
Ugh.
An overwhelming force flings Shining into the crystal tree. The sharp blade branches pierce through her abdomen. Fresh blood gushes down and converges with Chui Sartuste's blood. The ancient tree, long crystallized into originium, bursts a sudden pure white glow. In just a moment, countless little moons rise to the top of the tree. Every Confessorius begins to sing. The myriad souls lie prostrate. Howling knocks on the door from beneath, tangible usurps the intangible. The Black Crown imprisoned, the offender perpetually innocent, because kings are born before immortality.
Look, even injuries as grievous as this will not infect you. This is the power of the blood you resist. Chui Sarsenag, I've been impatient enough with you, but you stay stubborn, unwilling to accept all that belongs to you, your duty, power, glory. It's alright. Just be good and stay aside, while I complete the ceremony myself.
A crown woven of thorns appears in his hand. Moonlight shines into the crown as it illuminates the crystal tree at the end of the steps. In its spot lies a stone bed lined with dead branches, and a curled-up figure Shining knows too well atop of it. Liz, wake up.
Don't bother. Her consciousness is not where you think it to be. She's inside the crown. Correct. I promised you that I would mend her soul. You need only wear the complete crown, and you can be together forever. Together forever, in your cage.
Shining shuts her eyes.
She strains to imagine the time she spent together with Liz. They run in the woods hand in hand. They cross ice-cold creeks together. With Liz worn out on her back, she walks the road home. Liz makes a small flower wreath and places it on Shining's head. A small blue Phi-MD follows them the whole time, chirping a cheery tune over their heads.
Aw, they're so cute together. Father, brother, why you gotta ruin this?
It hovers, searches, and lands next to the sleeping white demon. It does not know why Liz is sleeping, and anxiously pecks at her cheek with its little beak.
Aw,
Until a black arrow pierces it.
really now?
The Phi-MD vanishes, leaving only a blue feather that lands on Shining's shoulder.
Enough. You know very well those are not her dreams. Even if those memories were fabricated, they are fabricated, so why not accept your own power and reshape her memory once more? Liz is Liz. She should be free. I will never shape her soul as I please ever again. Wishful thinking. Chuisarsadeg, my fragile child indulging in fantasy. You are that blue foul beast, thirsting for freedom, yet imprisoning yourself. I prepared everything for you. A perfect body, an ancient power. All you needed is to accept. But you betrayed me, you abandoned everything that belongs to you. And then, what did you gain? You sorely disappoint me. A new life. I was reborn into a new life after leaving you. Not as a confessorius, Chuisarsadag, nor puppet of my bloodline, but as Shining, as a member of the followers.
Blue feathers prick her wounds. The slightest of stings momentarily rouses her from her bloodline-induced paralysis.
Come. Now is the time. Find me. Find this tree. If it were you, you would certainly make it.
Oh? An opening pierces through the crimson clouds. The sunlight pours down. Everything around her becomes increasingly brighter.
That's... It doesn't matter what it is, just hold it back. The ceremony's already begun. We can't stop it!
Grand entrance? Oh! No! A new challenger approaches! Yay! That's right, protect your girls!
Light. Light and fog fills the air. The sun descends from the sky to repel the clammy moonlight.
Look at how cool she is! Yay! To the rescue!
Sorry, the storm was too intense, so I took some time to locate you. Are you alright? Do you need a hand, Shining? I'm fine, but we have to save Liz. And stop Chuisarsadag. Lend me your strength, and dispel the darkness before my eyes.
Of course. Let's go together. The road ahead of us. I'll illuminate our path.
I believe in her. Rescue your girls. Beat up stinky dad bro.
Okay, let's see how I want to do this.
Oh, she's right there. I gotta keep her alive.
I'm just gonna stare a tiny bit.
Okay, I've stared long enough.
This is fine.
Yeah.
Stinky Mothman.
Oops, I meant to do this. Yeah, that's fine. I might as well. Why not? Based on that range, I can put her here. Okay, this is good. Sheesh, these things are too powerful. Oh, this is chaos. True chaos. Okay.
Mission accomplished.
Phew.
Here you are.
Nero, you don't return to the landship often. Stay with Liz a bit. She's missed you.
She just fell asleep. Well, you seem more exhausted than when I last saw you. Are you worried about Liz? I asked Dr. Kelsey and she said Liz's condition is still under control. Is there something you haven't told me?
I'm thinking of a way to cure Liz for good.
You've poured years into this. It just won't come quickly, so don't torture yourself over it.
What if I told you a solution has always existed, only I've dared not try it?
Shining, what exactly are you hiding from me? What is it you can't say?
Nero, this is a duty I must see through on my own.
Do you think Liz and I will leave you? You know that won't happen.
My concern has always been that you two might get hurt. I've decided to join Liz in searching for her memories. I shall accompany her until we find the truth. However, Nero, a time will come when I need you to protect Liz in my stead.
I know. But I will protect and fight for more than just Liz. Shining, I will stand for you as well.
Dang, that's so cool.
Yes.
We've always stood by each other. The followers are as one. My oath remains unchanged. Margaret Nero and her sword staff will be there for you whenever needed.
Dang. Dang. I want what they have. The sword staff sweeps wide. A dazzling radiance repels a crowd of foes.
Every single Confessarius here is a powerful foe. So that's why you weren't willing to spar with me, Shining. We saved quite a lot of money for Rhodes Island.
Our greatest foe lies ahead.
Alright. Let's settle this quickly. What a farce! Careful! Ha! I can take it.
Yeah, this is the true love triangle. The happy ending.
Shining, my shield will protect you. You need only advance.
A torrent of witchcraft washes toward them. Margaret's radiance is suppressed. Chuisarta's stay stands on the top of the steps, day and night surging within his palm.
So this is the help you found. Churi Sarsanag, what do you think our ceremonial altar is? A meadow where Kuranta to frolic in? Humph. So your arts can momentarily block my influence on you. And what of it? Your swordplay and arts all come from me. You can't even harm me unless I let you. Ugh. Everything's slowed down. His arts affect the perception of time? Or is it something else? Shining!
I'm alright. Your shield. The first crack on this new shield of mine. But no matter, I can mend it with my arts. A knight's shield will never weaken when protecting someone in need.
Margaret is too cool.
What a detestable light. Puny foe, I've killed so many Pegasi like you. I've stopped counting. I smeared the golden blood on the walls of my castle so that my city would look as if forever bathed in the radiance of dawn. And the descendants would understand Kazdo is not a domain they can invade as they please. We're not in Kazdal, and you're not some homeland hero either. Heroes shed their own blood to clear the way for others, but you, all I see in your path is to ascension drenched with blood, tears, and bones of others. Heroes, I decided long ago to give up being one. The hero people sing and praise, but it's as fleeting as sand. No matter how I try to master the time I have, it does not stop for me. I will die, and the city I built will collapse. My beloved people will only be compelled to continue wandering. This hopeless cycle torments every single Sarkas, including me. As a sovereign, I have the responsibility and power, and ought to change my people's fate at the source. As long as the Sarkas need no longer lie prostrate before beasts like you. As long as my Kazo stands, everlasting through days and nights.
All the light around them rushes towards Chuisartuste's palm as he speaks. Margaret's arts, the arts of the other confessary, and even the little sunlight straining through the dense clouds. In his palm floats a small crown of thorns, as impenetrable as the darkest night. Nightingale floats up from the stone bed. Her eyes are still shut, her limbs lack strength, but her arms involuntarily open. When the last light has been caged, the crown will fall on Chuisartuste's head.
Liz! Shining, follow my light, save her!
Hello. A sharp spear of light tears a path through the witchcraft barrier. Shining arrives before Chuisartuste. Night descends like a cage, and the only light comes from her blade. Yeah, he's basically the Casdale's version of the Black Snake. Do you think him and the Black Snake would be friends? They are petty old men after all, who love taking on new bodies to live forever. The soul glimmers on the tip of her sword. I feel like they'd either be the bestest of friends or the worst of enemies, because they're so similar in that sense.
Liz, I return the true memories I once took from you.
No fields, no woods, no streams, and no flower wreaths. Only a girl huddled in a dark corner. The entire room serves as her cage, and she cannot tell day from night, because she is merely a manufactured empty shell. With no consciousness or knowledge of pain or fear, she reacts to no arts inflicted on her at all. Until,
in my obsession with exploring the soul, I left some unnecessary vestiges in you while carving yours. You're awake. You're starting to have emotions and responding to them. The experiment will continue. I have to
create some illusions. Fill up the newborn soul with memories fabricated by arts, to cover up the truest, scariest ones.
I think you should feel a little better at least. You will feel truly alive, as if you've experienced a bit of warmth.
No. Perhaps it was escapism. As long as I lost myself in those holy trusting eyes, I didn't have to confront the cruelty of what I've done to her.
I'm sorry. You should have remembered, Liz. You must remember all that we promised each other.
A blue foul beast emerges in the darkness. Gigantic gray-white eyes stare shining, and a tear slowly falls. The girl in the air floats down. Shining and Margaret hear Nightingale's voice simultaneously in the frozen time. I remember, Shining. You took me out of the darkest of rooms, and we escaped. You accompanied me everywhere in search of medical help. And then we met Neural, and two became three. We went many places and saved many people. You often sighed with knitted brows in the middle of the night. But once I opened my eyes, you shifted to the warmest tone I know and told me about the beautiful things I missed on our journey. No tried to teach me how to dance a few times. She'd hold me and spin until I couldn't move anymore, and the two of you would help me, taking turns carrying me. When I'm at your side, it's as if I really can fly. The two of you made me what I am now. I am a member of the followers and a healer. I'll protect you both, too, and fight alongside as well to sever the gravest sins to save those shrouded in the eternal night. That is what the three of us promise each other.
Oh, that is cute. I like that. That is precious.
Nightingale lands on the ground. Her staff and body emit intense light. A giant cage appears and catches Chu Star to stay his body within.
Ugh! The soul was completely under my control. Why is this cage?
I have a name. I am Liz, and I am your enemy. Chewie start to stay. I'm stopping you because I don't agree with a single word you said.
I know, right? They really went all out for the CGs, and I appreciate it.
You.
Shining, Neural. Shining grips her sword tight. Margaret tosses her sword staff, and it hits right on target. The crown of thorns revolving in Chewie Sartuste's hand. The trio are in complete sync with their thoughts and actions.
Now that is the power of love, sir.
Grab the flickering sliver of the soul before day and night take control once more. A long path of blood is the only crack before our eyes.
I found it. The essence of your soul. Juri Sarsenag, you... What this body will become, I am unconcerned. If blood does control my will, then Liz and Nero will pass judgment on me, in my stead as I am now. But I will not be your puppet. I will not conquer or ruin your name. Until death, I will be free. Free? You speak of freedom. Shall we give it a go? Juri Sarsenag, we are not easily parted. Try again to leave my side. Try and see how long you can run from me.
Father, brother, you were not invited. This trio will not become a quadruple. No, stop.
I will run no longer. Rather, I will grant you an eternal death. Shining, retreat!
The moonlight above the three tumbles down the cliff, and the ground violently rumbles as if about to turn upside down. The altar crumbles, a thick golden originium liquid gushes out from the cracks. A figure appears without anyone noticing. He does not move fast, but manages to appear just in time to block Chewie Sartuste from the followers.
It's he! It's be he! Dang, he showed up here too.
We should leave. Your Highness.
Come on! I know you really love Chewie Sartuste, but still, he deserves to be bonked.
Heh. So it's you. Who's there? Followers, is it? In this era where valor is scarce, your radiance bedazzles. We shall meet again.
And he's still so polite.
I do like him. Jalidkoa and Chewie Sartuste's figures blend into the remains of the altar. The other commissary follow suit. The crown of thorns shot out of Chewie Sartuste's hand earlier suddenly spins and turns into a pitch black shadow that flies up into the sky.
The shard. In the eye of the storm. Is that the omnonom mentioned over the comms? Dr. Kelsey, the doctor, and the others, will they make it? Shining, you... anything feel off? I'm alright. This blood curse is indeed complicated. Wait, Liz. Liz! Liz. No. Your soul... Why is it incomplete? Did you fracture your soul when you resisted Chui's Sardastai?
Shining. Nerl.
I'm here. I've always been here, Liz.
Yes, I'm alright. You two have protected me for so long, so it's my turn. I want the three of us to be always together.
Liz! Come, Shining, we'll cheer together! Shining? It's futile. Our arts can't heal such grievous wounds in her soul in this environment.
No, do not give up on her.
Liz is unique, both her body and soul. Her birth was coincidental. No, I would rather call it a miracle. Then we'll first leave this place, and then plan our next move. What about Chui's hardest day? Do we let him go? Yeah, do we just let him go? His fate means nothing compared to Liz's safety. He means nothing now. Let us return. Yes, together.
I am rooting for those three.
Leader.
Furious roaring.
Chui's hardest day failed to cage the Black Crown.
The Elder's power is weakened. I can work through its influence now.
The Elder's upper layer is breaking apart, Mia. Focus your attacks on the blood of Tikaz.
Right.
Yes.
You...
The King of Sarkaz has already sentenced me to death, but this is nothing new to me.
You're clearly in pain. You revere Chu Sardastai, but he left you behind like nothing. He treats you just like how you treat those chimeras. Exactly the same.
Don't waste your breath, King of Sarkaz. My feelings are nothing special. The Confessori are the leader's blood. Though some of us are born more perfect than others, like Chui Sarsanag, still others like myself were never in the running to be chosen at all. But I've never envied her. We only stand in the spot befitting us best. We were supposed to be inseparable. We're all limbs of the same one body. There is no other group able to perform unprecedented miracles like we Confessori can.
You sure are dedicated. How stubborn. You sure are dedicated.
I'm curious. Is there nothing you're strongly attached to? Doctor, would you not make the same choice I have for your life's work, for those dear to you, and the ones who have fought by your side this whole time? Whether it be under some control or influence, it does not matter. To reach your origin, to create a completely new future. That's all I want.
I can't let you get close to the blood of Tikaz.
Oh.
A black line pierces through Salusa's body once again, and strikes the outer core at the same time. The blood of Tikaz stills.
I'm so close. Amiya, stop her. She's going to ignite. It's fine, it's fine. My body is just like a monster's.
She stretches out her broken hand towards the drop of blood, a curse known only to the Confessori, inflicted upon the soul, upon all blood and flesh.
It will probably be a complete death this time. Before the leader, before Chui Sarsanag, and before all of my family. I'll take the first step into the future I yearn for.
Salute smiles and throws herself into the still heart. The blood of Tikaz boils. A giant crimson vortex appears in the altar's core. In that moment, Emil feels as if she's being watched by two star to stay, by the crowned without names, by the howling myriad souls, and by the one she is most familiar with. Teresa?
Omnanam. Seleucus used her own blood to complete the confessorious ceremony. Quick, get away from the altar.
Man, Omnom. Freaking Omnom. Nom 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 nom. I am going to root for at least the trio right now. And Logos with his Robot Mama. And I will continue the story next time. That is a good cliffhanger. Like, Emil, watch out! And then, bam, cliffhanger. So many entrances though, holy cow. And all the beautiful CGs, I am happy about that. It is great eye candy for me. I'm appreciating this. Oh boy, I can't wait to see what happens next. Oh man, the trio, they are the MVPs of tonight. They won my heart tonight. And now I shall look in the fridge. But yeah, Margaret's entrance was the best. I loved it. The trio must be together forever. I appreciate them. They are adorable. I'm happy. This is precious. I feel good. And I will continue on Sunday for Arknights. Tomorrow is for Fate's Interludes because I need more Saint Course offerings. So with that being said, thank you everyone for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Epic gacha luck. I shall see you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Woohoo!